my cutest little children. I believe every one of you who is watching this video is doing really good, and I really hope you like this thumbnail. It's cute, right? So I had tried to put a little bit of creativity. I do not know whether it worked or not. If it worked, do let me know in the comment section. Okay, now coming back to this particular video, my dear children, if at all you have reproductive health as a chapter in your syllabus, now whatever you're preparing for, whether it is second PUC, whether it's KCET, whether it is NEET examination, whether it's for CBSE board, I'm pretty sure that this video is going to definitely help you out, and that's my promise. I'll try my best. Okay, I'll try my best to make sure each and every concept is being dealt and you have understood it really well. Okay, so I'm going to make some promises over here and you have to trust me on that. I'll make sure that you get the best marks in FA1 from this chapter, bestest marks in your second PUC boards, all concepts super clear for your KCET or NEET examination, whichever is going to be there, and also at the end, the most important part, you will be the happiest. And this is something very important for me, because I feel that every one of you who are probably in the learning phase should not feel that it's a burden for me to watch a video. You should enjoy it. And as I said, I'll try my best to do so. If at all you really like the video, do let me know in the comment section, and do not forget to hit the subscribe button. Okay, now let's not waste time. Let's get into the chapter, and we are directly going to 1968. Guess what happened in 1968? For the first time, a condom brand was being advertised in our country, that is India. Okay, so now obviously they didn't have TV, television was not something that every household people had, which is why they used print and paper media, basically newspapers and things like that, where they give the advertisement for Nirod, which is actually a condom brand. And I'm going to show you that. So it almost looks something like this. They had put it like this: Dulex Nirod. Use condom to prevent pregnancy, sexually transmitted diseases and HIV/AIDS. And you know, it was available for 25 paise only, 25 paise only at that time. So the reason I'm talking about this particular thing as of now is because I want you guys to remember one very important thing. This happened in 1968. That year is not too important, but you need to understand that when you say that a government has planned to probably publish a contraceptive everywhere, that means there was a problem ongoing. And what was the problem? The population was the problem. The population was keeping on increasing, which is why they thought that we have to do something. And actually, not 1968, but long back in the year 1951, they came up with one very important thing, and that was family planning. Arey Baba, please do family planning. Do not have so many kids. They launched it. Okay, they launched it, they took the initiative to launch it in the year 1951. Ma'am, is this particular year important? It's just there as a small paragraph in our introduction. Yes, it is important, and you should know in 1951 what happened? Family planning happened. Family planning was an initiative given by the government, and they said everyone should be having family planning. Make sure that you do not increase the population of our country. Then this particular programs, the program under which the family planning and everything was there, it evolved into something bigger. And what was that something bigger? It was Reproductive and Child Healthcare Program. What do you mean by that? So listen to me. It's not just about the population anymore. Okay, population was increasing, but you know what? So many mothers and the newborn babies were dying because there was no proper care given to them. And people, small kids were getting married. Now, right now, we might have crushes and all, and we feel like, oh my God, we have to wait for years to get married. But obviously, when it comes in real life, it does not feel that good. Okay, so anyways, so this was very common back then. Child marriage was there. People didn't know about anything. They didn't know about contraceptive. Population was increasing. People were dying. So many things happened, which is why they thought that family planning is now not enough. Okay, 1951 we launched it. Now we have to evolve it into something else, which is much more broader, which takes care of a lot of things. And that program which was there is known as Reproductive and Child Healthcare Program. This is a KCET MCQ. Similarly over here, Reproductive and Child Healthcare Program, what is the abbreviation for this? It is RCH. Now some people think Reproductive and Child Healthcare. No Baba, it is going to be RCH. Healthcare is a single word out there. Okay, Reproductive and Child Healthcare, it was being evolved. The year when it was evolved into something like this is not mentioned over here. But What was their mission? Mission was for providing facility and support for building up a reproductively healthy society in overall sense. Now you might be thinking, how ma'am? And this is actually a question also that had come in few of the examination, that is basically what were the aim or the initiatives that were done under the RCH program, that is Reproductive and Child Healthcare program. The first initiative was awareness and education, that is to make people aware about a lot of things. I'm just giving you a brief, okay? Aware about that this is right, this is wrong, this is how you have to do this is how you have to take care of the baby and the mother, this is how you should not be doing it, and things like that. That is awareness and education. Second thing, it's not just about talking about things, it's also about providing things. You know, medical facility had to be provided. Okay, things that can be done by humans who probably are not doctors and nurses, that has to be done. That was told with the help of awareness and everything. But definitely they needed the help of doctors. They needed the need of a infrastructure where they could go give birth, take care of the baby and things like that. So that is medical facilities and assistance. Okay, apart from it, obviously there are a lot more things that we will discuss. And the third part is what? Research and development. That okay, whatever is there as of now, it's fine, but we need to do more research. We have to think more better for our country, for the people in it. Okay, so these were the three things that was majorly focused in the RCH program. First one, awareness and education. Second thing, medical facilities and assistance. Third thing, research and development. Now we're going to go one by one and talk about each of them. Cool. So the first one is awareness and education. Why is it important and where is it done? Baba, this thing that I am doing right now, is coming under what? Awareness and education. I am educating you about something. I'm going to talk about sex education. I'm going to talk about contraceptives. This is one way. Why? Sex education in schools to dispel the myths and misconception. Long back when I was a kid, I didn't know how babies were born. To be honest, yes. Who will come and tell us that how babies are being born? No. So obviously we do not know the entire, because it was a hush-hush topic. It was a very hush-hush topic. Then basically while we study, we get other teachers or we get people in our group who tell us that this is how it works. Now half of it could be true, half of it could be wrong as well. Right? That is how it works. Now there is definitely a need for making sure that whatever you hear is actually correct, because that is what you're gonna follow. Right? So sex education in schools to dispel the myths and the misconception. Information on the reproductive organs, okay, adolescence, what are the changes that you're going to see in your body, STDs, sexually transmitted diseases. Some people feel that it can be only transferred through a sexual intercourse, but no, there are some other diseases such as hepatitis, such as AIDS, which can be transferred through other ways as well. Okay, so these are the things which were being focused over here in awareness and education for the kids, for the school-going children or the college-going children out there. Now came the next group out there, that is the fertile couples. People who are married and basically could or were planning or are planning for a baby. We have to educate them also. Okay, the target was to educate them also, and also the people who were there in the marriageable age group, that within probably 3 or 4 years they could get married. What are the things that they should be knowing about? They should be very well aware about the birth control options. Yes, you might have a thought that I want 3 kids, 4 kids, but do you think that's possible to make sure that all the kids are equally fed, easily watched over and things like that? If no, then there is a need for what? Birth control options. The next thing, care during and after pregnancy. You know, at so many places, people do not take care of the mother as well as the baby, and it leads to so many deaths out there. So care during and after pregnancy is also one more thing. And importance of breastfeeding. So many females and also the males, they do not know the importance of breastfeeding. They do not know that the first milk that goes from the mother to the baby contains a lot of antibodies, and antibodies are basically, you can just imagine that they are superheroes of our body who are fighting against so many pathogens that causes diseases. Okay, so breastfeeding is also super important. Birth control is also very important. Care during and after pregnancy is important. And to make people aware about all of this, basically RCH program was being conducted. Okay, now postnatal care for the mother and the child. Postnatal Perinatal means after the delivery, care for the mother and the child. I think I covered over there. And lastly, promoting gender equality, awareness about gender equality as well. You might have heard about, you might have seen, you might have heard about the news is wherever a female give birth to another female, it is considered to be a big mistake. So obviously we live in an era where we should be aware that every single gender that we see over here is equal. We should be, obviously you will not be physically equal, we cannot be like that, okay, but when it comes to rights, we have equal rights, and we need to be someone who should be promoting that, and I'm pretty sure my dear children are definitely doing that, right? Okay, so these were the things that fertile couples as well as youth of marriageable age were being what is taught about or educated about. And the last part is raise awareness about impact of uncontrollable population growth. Now this is common for all. People should be aware that what happens if at all the population growth keeps on increasing. Baba, if population growth keeps on increasing, we are going to fight with each other for what? Food, water, everything. Okay, everything is going to be limited. You know, in our world, everything is limited. Nothing is unlimited apart from love. Okay, the rest everything is actually limited. So we have to make sure that the population should not go increased. If it goes, then we are going to fight against each other. Okay, so the next thing that is there is sexual abuse and sex-related crimes. Yes, people need to be aware about all of it. When I say reproductively healthy society, I mean that every other person, every single child knows about what is good touch, what is bad touch, and if at all they face an abuse, they should be realizing it and reporting it as well. They should be having the confidence to report it, and also they should understand that it's an abuse, as I said. So awareness about all of it is super important, and that comes under awareness and education. So awareness in the school against reproductive organ, adolescence, STD and things like that, awareness to the fertile couples and the youth of marriageable age, and awareness to everyone about uncontrolled population growth problems, and also the sex-related crimes as well as the sexual abuse. That comes under this particular topic, that is awareness and education, the first initiative or the first goal that comes under reproductive and child healthcare program. The next goal is providing medical facilities and assistance. By that I mean providing strong infrastructure, professional expertise and material support. Where you need a doctor, you need a doctor. Where you need a hospital, you need a hospital. You cannot say that this is there, I will not provide that. That cannot be done. We need it, right? So medical care for pregnancy, childbirth, STD, infertility. So it can be like people who are pregnant, they need safe deliveries. People who want to have babies, they should be getting options for that. That means there should be treatment for infertility. If at all people have some menstrual disorder, they should be having treatment for that. If at all someone wants to do abortion, there should be an option for that. There should be a treatment for that. If at all someone wants contraception, there should be a treatment for that. So medical facilities available for all of this thing is one thing that comes under this particular topic. Apart from it, when I say medical facilities and assistance, I also mean one more very important thing. Under this comes an important topic, that is ban on amniocentesis. What do you mean by that? What do you mean by amniocentesis? So basically, Baba, if at all a child who is there in the mother's womb, okay, has some genetic abnormalities which is very fatal for the baby's life and also somehow for the mother's life. It could be there for the mother's life or not, but for the baby it's very, very fatal. In that condition, how do you identify whether the baby has a genetic disorder? We do not know. Baby is inside the mother's womb. How do we know? We can use a method that is known as, or procedure which is known as amniocentesis, where what is being done? And I'll tell you why was it banned as well. So suppose there is a baby over here, chutku baby, okay? This chutku baby is inside the mother's womb. Inside the mother's womb, it is inside a sac-like structure which you actually call as amniotic sac. You call it as amniotic sac, and this particular sac has amniotic fluid. It has what? Fluid. Now this baby, this chutku baby cell which is there, no, some of them they shed up over here. They might naturally shed up over here, few of them. What the doctor does is that doctor comes and takes in this particular fluid, that is the amniotic fluid. Along with the fluid, what comes out? The cells will be coming out. Now in the cell you have the nucleus. In the nucleus you have your genetic material. Can you try to find out the genetic disorders with the help of this? Yes, definitely that can be done. Definitely that can be done. But you know, we human beings, sometimes we are so bad, we utilize this whole process for something else. Okay, if I am getting to understand the genetic makeup of this baby, basically that means I do get to understand the chromosome, all the chromosomes, and there are sex chromosomes as well. There are sex chromosomes as well. Now, if I get to understand the sex chromosomes, what is the combination, whether it's XX or XY, don't I get to understand the sex of the child? Yes, I do. Now, if it is a female child, what do people do? Not now, but it was probably now also in some areas, but it was majorly done long back. People used to go ahead with aborting that kid who was a girl. And this led to female feticide. Female feticide means basically killing of the female babies out there. And you will not imagine the scale of this happening was way too much that the Indian government had to ban the process of amniocentesis, that you cannot do amniocentesis. Okay, so there was a statutory ban on amniocentesis. This also comes under RC's program. Why? Because you're talking about reproductively healthy society. You're talking about healthy society, which means again gender equality. You cannot go on killing the females out there, a female child, just because you do not want that gender, right? So this was also being banned. So the actual use, I'll re-quote it, I'll remember it, it's a very important thing. It's an MCQ question. You would be asked about it to explain it as well in your second PUC. If it all comes, you should know how to answer it. So actual use of amniocentesis is for the testing of, or the presence of, is for finding the presence of certain genetic disorders such as what? Down syndrome, hemophilia, sickle cell anemia, etc., etc. Now, if at all they're asking you that what all diseases can you find through, or which disease can you not find through amniocentesis, and in that option is Down syndrome, sickle cell anemia, hemophilia, and jaundice. But jaundice is not a genetic disorder, so you cannot find the other disease which are not genetic disorders with the help of amniocentesis. So that goes out of this list. That is how questions could be framed. So please know that. Okay, so medical infrastructure has to be provided, and then they put a ban on amniocentesis because female feticide was increasing. The next thing that they did under this particular thing is basically provide child immunization. Massive child immunization to reduce the maternal and infant mortality rate. What do you mean by that? To reduce the death of the mothers as well as the children. Mortality means death. Mortality rate means death rate. Maternal and infant means mothers and babies mortality rate had to be reduced. How did they reduce it, or how did they plan to reduce it? By giving massive child immunization. You might have heard about polio vaccine, this vaccine, that vaccine. We all take it. And it is super important. Otherwise, probably a lot of us would not be able to survive through the childhood. As I said, babies do not have too much amount of immunity. Okay, babies get their immunity slowly, and usually, as I said, breastfeeding helps a lot in that to provide the initial protection out there. Now, I can also give an example over here. My mother is a twin. Okay, my mother is a twin. She has a twin sister who looks exactly similar in every single ways. Okay, we cannot distinguish between both of them. But apparently, and they are really good friends, very good friends, okay? And they used to talk around. I have heard it from my mother, that's why I'm telling you. And one day, my aunt, that is my mother's sister, got affected with polio. Now, there had been some issue with that. There were some issues with the immunization process which was being done, or probably it was, I'm not very clear about whether it was being done or not done, because you know some people used to give injection without nothing in it, and a lot of things happened back at that time, which is why she was affected with polio, and now it's very difficult for her to walk, and it's a very sad thing, very sad thing. Now this is something that had caused a disability. It can also lead to death, and which is why it was super important that every child who is born is super important that every child who is born gets immunization, vaccination, and all of it. And that comes again under medical facilities and assistance. So these are the few things, that is to provide infrastructure, the ban on amniocentesis, and also massive child immunization comes under this. Now I'll be showing you a video, and due credits, by the way, due credits to Nucleus Media who have actually made up this particular video. Okay, so I'm just here to give you an idea about how amniocentesis is done. So basically, they scan where the position of the baby and all, and then they take a syringe and take up the fluid which is there, the amniotic fluid, very little amount, which will be containing what? The cell. That is how it is usually being performed. So as I said, now the fluid is being taken. Cool. So yes, I wanted to just show that anyways. So education and awareness is done, and the second part of the story is also done. Now we go to the third part, that is research and development. So obviously we cannot say whatever we have today in our country that would be enough. We have to make sure that the facilities grow and increase, and basically for that we have to do research and development, and under our STIs program comes this particular thing also. Have we done something really good? Yes, we have done something super great. That is basically the development, or what do you say, the finding of Saheli. You know what Saheli? Saheli is actually a contraceptive drug. It's a contraceptive pill which is there. And usually how does contraceptive pill work? Do you have a little bit of idea? If not, I'll tell you. So in our body we have, in the female's body, we have progesterone and estrogen and things like that, right? These two hormones are super important in terms of what? In terms of ovulation to happen, that is the egg release to happen. And once the egg is released, if the sperm is there, they will be fusing together, forming the zygote forms the embryo comes and get embedded in the wall of the uterus, that is known as endometrium. Now when it comes and embedded in the uterus, the endometrium is going to be super thick out there such that it can take care of the embryo. That is how it usually works, okay, with the help of progesterone and estrogen. Now what if I give these hormones in an extra amount to my body? There will be a hormonal imbalance. There will be a hormonal imbalance. Now, the hormones are not going to do the same process that they were doing until now. They are going to cause chaos inside our body. They will not let ovulation happen. They will not allow implantation to happen. A lot of issues are going to be created. The good things that we're doing, basically, it is not going to be there anymore. That is how it usually works. So when we say that someone is having a pill is a combination of mostly these hormones that I am talking about, either progesterone or progesterone-estrogen combination. Progesterone-estrogen combination is being given. Now, why am I talking about this? Because over here, this contraceptive pill was something different. This contraceptive pill was something different because here you are not giving hormones. You're not creating a imbalance in your body by giving external hormones. Basically, you were doing something else. And what was that something else? Listen to me carefully. So over here, we know that in our body, we have the hormone that is estrogen. And for anything to work, basically, in our body at different places we have certain things that looks like this, which you call as receptors. They are made up of proteins and things like that. Whatever things are being made up of here, they come and bind, and when this binding it basically sends the next signal, and that is how whatever function it has to do, it works like that. Okay, it is going to start working like this if at all it comes and binds on its receptors. That is how the signaling process starts off. What if I say that this particular contraceptive pill, that is Saheli, has a drug that is actually Sencromin, which is someone who is here, and this is your estrogen, and it competes with estrogen to come and bind over here. And who wins the race? Actually, this guy only wins the race. And do you think if estrogen is not able to come and bind over here, it will be able to do its function? The answer is no, it is not. So are we giving any hormones inside are we putting any hormones inside our body? The answer is no. That means it is not going to have side effects. It will not have too much side effects. We're not talking about inserting any steroids inside our body. A normal oral contraceptive pill definitely has some side effects, but in the case of Saheli, first of all, you need to understand it's non-steroidal. Okay, and basically it does not have side effects. It's obviously a little bit side effects would be there, but not as you have in your oral contraceptive, in a normal oral contraceptive pill. So Saheli was a part of a research, and Saheli was basically introduced by, please remember, this is again a very important MCQ question, CDRI. Okay, CDRI. What does CDRI stand for? Central Drug Research Institute. Central Drug Research Institute. Where is it, Baba? It is in Lucknow. And what did they come up with? They came up with Saheli, which is a contraceptive pill and which is actually having no side effects and also does not produce any steroids. Now, one more very important thing about Saheli. You do not have to have this pill every single day. So again, a normal pill which is there, a normal oral contraceptive pill which is there, it has to be taken every single day. Every single day, because if at all the level of the hormones is coming back to normal, yes, ovulation can happen. The basic logic is what? If we are giving estrogen and progesterone, if these two ovarian hormones are in way too much amount, I have told you in the previous chapter, that is human reproduction, if these two hormones are more in amount, the other pituitary hormones, these are ovarian hormones, the pituitary hormones will not be allowed to increase their amount. They are dushman, enemies. If this guy is there, they won't be there. If they are there, they won't be there. That is how it works. So if at all I keep them in increased amount, these guys are not going to be there. And if FSH is not there, ovulation cannot happen. Ovulation cannot happen. That is the logic. So that is why in oral contraceptive pill, every single day a person has to have it. But they give a gap of like 4 and 5 days. The reason being that whatever endometrium thickening has taken place, a little, not too much endometrium thickening happens. Again, why? Because a normal amount progesterone helps in endometrium thickening. Okay, since the amount is abnormal over here, it will not allow the thickening of the endometrium and things like that. It is going to be thin only, but you will give some space for the shedding down of this particular endometrium. That happens. So with a gap of 7 to 5 days, apart from it, every single day oral contraceptive pill has to be taken. But in this case, this is going to be once in a week pill. The effect of this particular drug which is there, it stays for almost a week, which is why it has to be taken only for a week. Only once in a week, only once in a week. So Saheli is once in a week. You know, your good friend, Saheli means friend. And a good friend is still okay even if you talk once in a while. You can remember like that. Okay, so that is the logic, and that is the third thing, research and development. I hope you will not forget. Central Drug Research Institute, where is it? It is there in Lucknow. Cool. So now, I hope these three aspects of RCH, Reproductive and Child Healthcare Program, is done. Family planning was introduced in the year 1951, and that is also done. And now we come back to a question that came in your second PUC board. What are the reasons for population explosion? Why do you think the population was exploding, increasing in amount? What could be the reason? The reasons are rapid decline in the death rate. Yes, obviously we are taking care of a lot of things now, which is why what is going to happen? There will be a decline in the death rate. Is it good or bad? It is good only. No one should be dying. But definitely this is a reason for population explosion, right? The population was increasing, obviously because of, no use of contraceptive. Definitely, that is definitely there. Okay, apart from it, this was also happening. Rapid decline in death rate, maternal mortality rate, and the infant mortality rate. By that I mean rapid decline in death rate of whom? The mothers. What do I call that? Maternal mortality rate. You also call this as MMR. Okay, and the next one is infant mortality rate. So if at all you are being asked, okay, in an increasing population, MMR is more or less. MMR is more or less. In an increasing population, it is going to be less. Mothers are dying less. Mothers are dying less. That means they are there. They are there. That is going to increase in population. It's not a bad thing that I'm talking about. Okay, I'm just telling you, these type of questions have come. These type of questions could be coming in. Okay, now again, infant mortality rate in a decreasing population. Infant mortality rate is more or less. In a decreasing population is decreasing. Why? Because people are dying. That means infant mortality rate is more. People are dying. You get it? So these type of questions could be coming in. Anyways, the first explanation or the first point in this answer is rapid decline in death rate. That is the maternal mortality rate and the infant mortality rate, along with increased life expectancy. So in the case of human beings, they have an increased life expectancy. We are not like makhi machar who will die after a few days, right? We stay for a long time. A large number of people in the reproductive age group leading to increased birth. This was also there. Okay, a large number of people in the reproductive age group, if at all they are there, later on they are going to get married, they would be having kids, sometimes with marriage, without marriage, anyway, they might be having kids. That could be a reason for what? Population explosion. Apart from it, no use of contraceptive. Apart from it, the third reason, if at all you have been asked, that will be what? No awareness about contraceptives and things like that. Because if you have awareness, yes, you can control the birth rate to a very large extent. Okay, so this is a question. Make sure you write your answer like this. Now, that is done. From this part, this type of questions have come. Now we are going to the next part, that is, so did anything good happen after doing all this, that is after doing the RCH program? As I said, good things happened. What was the good thing? Decline in the death rate. Okay, decline in the death rate. By that I mean the maternal mortality rate which was there, it decreased. Infant mortality rate which was there, it decreased. It was a very good thing. People were not dying. But also there were few things that is happening. Increase in people in the reproductive age group. There was an increase in people in the reproductive age group, right? No one was dying, everyone was growing up, they were again reproducing. So this was there, and it helped reduce the growth rate, but only marginally, only little less. It helped reduce the growth rate of the population. People, some of them were aware, they started using the contraceptive and things like that, but to a very less extent, marginally only. And by that I mean that I have a proof, and the proof is these numbers that you see. These numbers, by the way, is it a big problem that population is increasing? As I told, yes. Why? Because there will be scarcity. Scarcity of what? Food, water, everything. You know, we human beings, we are cannibals. We can eat each other. We are not doing so. The reason is being we have everything. But if there comes a time where we do not have things to eat, we do not have things to drink, you will not understand it right now. But naturally it's proven we are cannibals. We probably might eat each other. You never know. Let that day never come. Yes. So yes, anyway, so we had the numbers to prove that yes, the population was increasing and the growth rate was managed only marginally, and this is the proof. By the way, ma'am, do we have to remember these numbers? The answer is yes, you do have to remember these numbers that I'm going to talk about right now. So the world population, if at all I talk about world and India, okay, in the world population we start with 1900. In the year 1900 the population was around 2 billion. How many billion? 2 billion. Okay, then we add up 100 more years to this, it became 2000, it increased to 6 billion. It increased to 6 billion. Okay, ma'am. Now 2011, just after 11 years, we check this time, it increased to 7.2 billion. It increased to 7.2 billion. Don't you think that's crazy? Definitely it is. 1900, 2 billion. Okay, by 2000, that means almost 100 years, 4 billion extra people came in. Okay, 6 billion. 2011, 7.2. Within just 11 years, 1.2 billion increase was being seen. This is about the world. This is about the world. If you remember these years, it becomes a lot more easy for you. 1900, 2000, 2011. 1900, 2000, 2011, 267. 267. Okay, cool. Yes. Now, coming back to this particular thing. So you can also remember like this, 2 plus 4 is equals to 6. 6, okay, 2 plus 4 is equals to 6. No, you don't remember like that. Anyways, 2, 6 and 7.2, that's all. Now, when I talk about India, what was happening in India? So here, instead of considering 1900, let's talk about the time when we got independence. Because before that, a lot of people were there, no? So, yes. So, we just have to put 1947. In the year 1947, our population was almost close to 350 million, not billion, 350 million. 350, almost close to 350 million. Now we use the same matrix. In 2000, what happened? In 2000, it increased to 1 billion. It increased to 1 billion. 1 billion. So out of the 6 billion of the world, 1 billion were we only, okay? And now, in 2011, May 2011, they had mentioned over here, May 2011, here it increased to 1.2 billion. It increased to 1.2 billion. It crossed actually 1.2 billion. So here it's 7.2, here it is 1.2. You can just remember like that. Cool. So this is the numbers that are there that are important for you to remember. Let's have a quick recheck about it. Okay, let's have a quick recheck about it. 1900, 2000, 2011. In 1900, 2 billion. 2000, 6 billion. What do you say? 2011, 7.2 billion. And what about our country, India? In the year 1947, when we got independence, almost close to 350 million was there. Then this million converted into 1 billion in the year 2000. Okay, and in the year 2011, it crossed 1.2 billion out there. Now, don't you think that's a problem? Do you think that's a problem or not? Obviously, ma'am, that's a problem. Then we have to do something about it. Yes, definitely we have to do something about it. And that's when we are now coming into what? The other measures for controlling population. Yes, that is good. Reproductive and child health care program is definitely good. But we have to make sure that the contraception and other things have to be taken care of really, really well. Which is why government came up with some fresh measures. And the first measure that I want to talk about is this: legal marriage age. Legal marriage age, Baba. Over here, as I said, we feel to get married very early. If we have crushes and all, right? It's until 10 years I have to wait to get married. Oh my God, it's a feeling like that, right? So over here, actually, in actual terms, it was done for good because people were, at a certain age, we do not know a lot of things. For example, when I was 18, I didn't know much things. Right now I'm almost 29 and I do not know much things. Okay, I know a lot of things, but I'm not aware of a lot of things that a person who is 35-year-old would know, or a person who is 40-year-old would know. And it comes with age. It comes definitely with age. Yes, you can know things beforehand, but not all of it. Definitely you can know things beforehand, but not all of it. So similarly, which is why Baba, over here, when I say the legal marriage age was increased, by that, what do I mean? It was increased for a reason that people are more aware about the choices that they do. Okay, and it's actually good. Some children are there who really do not want to get married in a young age, but they are forced to get married. But now, since our country has stricter rules, what happens? Basically, the parents can go ahead with marriage only after 18 years. That's also a very small number, but still. Okay, so legal marriage age 18 years for females and 21 years for males. 21 years for males. That was being increased. The second thing is incentives. This was also being given, provided to couples with small families. So people who had small families, they are given some amount as an incentive, or probably as a gift sort of thing, saying that macha, make sure that no more babies, we just want a small family out there. So yes, incentive programs are there. Similarly, do you know, there are programs where, to make sure that people who think that having a girl child is a burden for them, if at all the third child is also a girl child, they are given incentives such that the last child's education would be free and things like that. So that is being done such that people are a bit relaxed, if at all they have any thoughts like that. Anyways, so this is very important. Next thing is promotion of small families. Now for that, they created slogans, this and that, okay, hum do, hamare do, and things like that. And at some places, they also went ahead with the one-child norm. One-child norm. In a country like China, they have this particular norm that is one-child norm. So similarly, in our country also, that was being tried. But who took it up? Who thought that it was okay to have one child? Basically, people who were there in urban areas. Now, this is again an MCQ question, a very important. You might not even think that these type of questions could come, but yeah, it has come. Yes, it has come. So over here, when I say one-child norm, who is adopting it? The urban people. What about the people in rural areas? Can you expect them to have the one-child norm? Baba, no. Why? Because they are not blessed enough. They are not blessed enough as of now, since they do not have money. Basically, they do not have too much education to know about this. They do not have the education to know about the ill effects of high amount of population out there. Okay, you get it? Or probably, what are they going to do if at all they have so many kids? How will they manage it? They have no idea about it. Now, some people have that idea even without education, and that's brilliant. But there are people who really, at this point of time, do not have idea. So do you know that it's an MCQ question where it has been, not MCQ, in the MCQ question, it has been said, assertion. One-child norm was adopted by some people who were living in the rural area. Statement number one. Right or wrong? Statement number one is wrong because it was adapted by people who were there from urban areas. So all these things. So these are the few things that the government did. Increase the legal marriage age, give incentives to the family and promotion of the small families, and also going ahead with the one-child norm. Okay, what do you say? Trying to make sure that people go ahead with the one-child norm. But that is definitely not something that has been applicable to state in our country, but in other countries it has been done. Okay, now apart from this, Government also came up, as I said, they are now freely promoting a lot of advertisements for contraceptives. So apart from doing all of this, they're also giving human beings a free will that, hey, this contraceptive is available, make sure you use it to prevent unwanted pregnancy. And now we're going to go ahead with the major topic of this particular chapter, that is contraceptives. So make sure you listen to me out very, very carefully. Okay. What are the ideal features of contraceptive? Important question. Okay, important question. What are the ideal features of contraceptives? What do you think? Like good human beings, there are good contraceptives as well. The first one is that it should be user-friendly. And do not mug up any of these things. Baba, you have to understand, then only you're going to remember things. Mugging up will not work. Okay, there are 13 chapters. How much will you mug up? And that too just in biology, you have to talk about other subjects as well, right? So first thing, it should be user-friendly. As in basically any person who is using contraceptive should be feeling okay with using it. Okay, should not be feeling anything in their body, and it can be used by themselves. You do not always need a doctor or a nurse to help you with the use of contraceptives. So there are contraceptives like that where you need medical professionals' help. There are contraceptives which you can use by yourself. So definitely the ideal contraceptive is the one which can be user friendly. Next thing, easily available. So easily available means it should be available everywhere. It should not be like, oh, there is only one shop in the entire state where I will get the contraceptive. It should not work like that. Why? Because contraception is a need for everyone. It's a need of everyone. So definitely it has to be made easily available. Next thing, it has to be effective. For example, if someone is using a contraceptive, they have to have the surety that it is not going to fail, they are not going to get pregnant. This is very, very important. It has to be super effective. Fourth thing, it has to be reversible. For example, there is a couple who do not want to have kids for 5 years straight. Next, after the 5th year, basically they have felt a need of having a child. Don't you think they should be able to conceive a child? Yes. So that means the contraceptive that is being used should be reversible. It should be reversible. If at all at some point they want to have a kid, they should be able to do it. Next thing, minimal or no side effects. Any contraceptive that is being used should ideally be having no side effects, or if at all it is having, it should be having only minimal side effects. Otherwise, if it leads to some other issues, then obviously no one will prefer using the contraceptive. Last one, should not interfere with the sexual drive or the activity, right? It should not be interfering. If it is interfering, then obviously that is not of a good use. So these are the few things that is there. How many points do we have? 6 points are there. These are the features of ideal contraceptives. Please remember. Let's try to remember it. First thing, user friendly. Second thing, it should be easily available at any place. The third thing, it should be effective, doing its work properly. The fourth thing, reversible. It should be reversible. The fifth thing is what? Guesses. The fifth thing, it should be having minimal or no side effects. And the last part is that it should not be coming in between the sexual desire, the sexual drive of a person. Okay, now the contraceptives that you're going to study today, or you're going to study in this particular video, some of them will be eligible for all of it. Some of them might be not good for this, and things like that. For example, surgical methods, we're going to deal with that. It is not reversible. Oral pills which are there, it will definitely have some side effects. So yes, that is there. But you have been asked about what are the features of ideal contraceptives. These are the features of ideal contraceptives. Okay. And here comes the first method. So there are different contraceptive methods. The first one is going to be natural method. What do you mean by natural method? Just give me a second. I'll just drink some water. And I hope you guys are hydrating as well. Please drink water. This feels so good. Okay. When we talk about natural method, basically, over here, we have 3 of them. And before I make you understand the meaning of natural methods and things like that, I am pretty sure if I talk about these 3 things, you will get an understanding of it. Okay? So here, we are not going to take the help of any external things. It's just our body. We are going to take the help of our body and our free will. The first method coming under natural method is periodic abstinence. What do you mean by periodic abstinence? It means that, suppose when I say that a person is there, a female is there, her cycle, her whole menstrual cycle which is there, it's of 28 to 29 days, agreed? And we know that almost on the 14th day, the mid of the cycle, What do you have? You have ovulation, the release of the egg. Now when the ovulation happens, at that particular time, if at all the sperm comes and fertilizes, basically we say zygote is being formed, the zygote transform into embryo, embryo will be going into the uterus, getting implanted there, pregnancy is going to happen. Now we want to prevent all of it. We want to prevent all of it. What's the best way to do so? Do not have sexual intercourse during this time. Do not have sexual intercourse during the time of ovulation. When the egg is released, don't have sexual intercourse so that the sperm will never come there, right? Yes, that is the only way. But do you have any guarantee that it will be only happening on the 14th day? Do you have a guarantee on that? No, ma'am. No, ma'am, there's no guarantee on that. So basically we assume day 10 to day 17. Day 10 to day 17 is considered to be what? The fertile window. It is considered to be the fertile window, as in during this particular window, a female is going to be most fertile. There are chances for her to ovulate, that is for the egg to be released. Someone who refrains from having sexual intercourse during the 10th to 17th day of their cycle, okay, is said to follow periodic abstinence. They are absent during a period of what? These many days. This period is known as the fertile window. Periodic abstinence means avoiding coitus. Coitus means sexual intercourse from day 10 to day 17. Please remember, day 10 to day 17, this is known as fertile window. Are we using any condoms out there? Here, no. This is just a natural method. As I told, there is no external thing that we are using up here. The next thing that we have is withdrawal method. Again, do never mug up these terms. Understand it. Absent during the period, periodic abstinence. Second thing, withdrawal method, or you also call this as coitus interruptus. What do you mean by that? Withdrawal basically means before a man ejaculates the sperm within the female body, he is going to remove the penis from the female reproductive tract. That means the semen which is going to be released outside the body and not inside. Now if it is not releasing inside, obviously do you think there is any chance for the sperm and the egg to meet? No, baba. Since you're withdrawing the penis, it is known as withdrawal method. Since you're interrupting the sexual intercourse, it is known as coitus interruptus. It is known as coitus interruptus. Here the male withdraws the penis before ejaculation, or basically insemination. Insemination means putting the semen inside the female body. Okay, that is withdrawal method. Now the third method that we have is a little complicated but is an easy one. Lactational amenorrhea. Lactation means what? Breastfeeding time. Okay, so when a mother who has given birth is breastfeeding, at that particular point of time, basically in her body a hormone is way too much. A hormone is found in way too much amount. Why? Because this is very much important for the process of lactation. The hormone's name is prolactin. Okay, the hormone's name is prolactin. When the prolactin is there in too much amount, you know, the FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, and LH, they cannot increase. Now if these hormones are not there, do you think ovulation will happen? No, ovulation is not going to happen. The egg is not going to be released. If egg is not going to be released, papa, or if ovulation is not happening, do you think menstruation would be happening? Do you think menstruation would be happening naturally? No, because your body is not prepared for the release of egg or waiting of the sperm and things like that, which is why menstruation will also be not there. Anyways, the basic logic over here is, if ovulation is not happening, okay, if ovulation is not happening, is there any point that the sperm can come and fuse with what? There is nothing to fuse with. You get it? So lactational amenorrhea basically means no ovulation during intense breastfeeding, and this is mostly effective up to 6 months. So a mother can lactate for years, but this particular process of no ovulation to be there during lactation is mostly effective up to 6 months. Up to 6 months. Now, you only tell me, you think about it and you only tell me, what if ovulation happened on the 8th day and there is sexual intercourse that have taken place? Do you think pregnancy could happen? Yes, ma'am. What if, okay, what if over here the male could not withdraw the penis before ejaculation? Some amount of semen went inside the female body. Don't you think pregnancy could happen? Yes, ma'am. What if the women started ovulating before this? There's some issue with the hormone and things like that. She started ovulating before. What do you think will happen? Pregnancy will happen. So there are definitely advantage. Advantage is what? Basically, there is no medicine that is being used, no external devices, which is why there will be minimal side side effects, or actually no side effects at all. But disadvantages we talk about is that it is highly unreliable. It has high failure rates. So natural method is a method where principle is what? Principle is to prevent the sperm and the ovum from meeting. Any single place do you see sperm and ovum were meeting according to these things, which if at all they are being followed properly? Do you think the ovum and the sperm can ever meet? No. Here ovulation is not happening. Here the sperm is not inside the female body. Here basically again egg is not there and the sperm is being inserted inside the female body out there. So the principle is prevent the sperm and the ovum from meeting, and that is all that we have about the natural method. Always remember, it has high failure rate. It has super high failure rate. Okay, ma'am. Now going into the next method which is there, that is the barrier method. Barrier method means you're creating a physical barrier out there. You are going to create what? A physical barrier in between the sperm and the egg. The sperm and the egg. Again, the principle is going to be the same, that is prevent the sperm and the egg from meeting. How will you do that? That is very important. So over here we have different barrier method. The first one is going to be condom. What is condom made up of? Condom is basically nothing but rubber and latex sheet. It is going to be rubber and latex sheet which is not going to affect the female or the male body out there. Okay, and how is it being used? So suppose this is the penis which is there. The penis is basically covered over here with the condom. Okay, with the condom. So whatever sperm is going to be released within this particular rubber and latex sheet out there. The sperm will not be released outside. And where is this penis being put? Inside the female reproductive tract. So over here there is a female reproductive tract. Okay, just give me a second. This is the vagina that is there. Here suppose there is a uterus. This is the cervical region, this is the vaginal region. Here the penis is being inserted, and basically the sperms does not go within the female body. The sperm stay here itself. Okay, the sperm is definitely going to stay here itself. It is not going to go within the female body. Do note that. So this particular thing that you see over here is going to be the cervical region. It does not go beyond it. Do remember that. Okay, so this is the male condom that is there. Now females, now actually it looks like this. Okay, over here is a rim-like structure which is being inserted over here on the fetus. Similarly, we have the female condoms as well. How does the female condom work? It works in a similar manner. But before I go ahead, let me ask you one thing. Here, do you think there is any sort of exchange of fluids? Exchange of fluids between the male and the female body. The female body will also be having some lubrication. Does it come and attach over here on the male part? No. Why? Because the male part has an extra protection out there. Similarly, the male semen which is there, does it come and attaches or probably get leaked out over here anywhere? No. So with that, I want to tell you one more thing, that condom is definitely a contraceptive method. It definitely does not allow the sperm and the egg to meet, and it's the only method that we have which prevents STDs, sexually transmitted infections. Why? Because sexually transmitted diseases travel through the genital fluids and sometimes blood and things like that. So genital fluid anyway is not being exchanged. So always remember, condom is a way to prevent sexually transmitted infections such as HIV/AIDS. Do remember, very, very, very important. Okay, and the popular brand that we started with this particular brand. Name of this particular brand is going to be known as Nirod. That is there for males, and it is disposable. It can be thrown off after the use. It is self-inserted. You do not need medical professionals' help, and it ensures privacy. So in all way, this is something that is considered as an ideal contraceptive out there. Okay, now going ahead, as I was talking about, there are female condoms as well. Okay, there are female condoms as well, which is having two rims like this. They have two rims like this. Okay, and I'll tell you how does it function. So over here, suppose this is the uterus that is there, and this is the cervical region that is there, and here you have the vagina. The condom which is there, it is plugged in. The rim, the upper rim is going to be plugged in like this, and this rim is basically covered. There is no hole over here. It is completely covered, and over here you have something like this, and again there is an opening. Through this opening, the penis is being inserted. Okay, so this is a female condom which is there, which is not very much famous. People generally do not use it, but yes, it's there. Okay, so made of thin rubber and latex, covers the penis, male, or vagina and the cervix. Vagina and the cervix in the case of female, prevents conception and protects against STD, the only one to do so. Popular brand is Nirod. It is disposable, can be self-inserted, and basically ensures super privacy. Right. Now, in the barrier method itself, you have multiple other things. The next part of the story is basically diaphragms, cervical caps, and walls. Diaphragms, cervical caps, and walls, all of them are there for females. So as I have shown you in this particular image, this is going to be a diaphragm. This is going to be a diaphragm. Diaphragm is usually bigger in size, and basically it has to be inserted. It has to be inserted inside the female body, inside the reproductive tract over here. Now that is something that is very common. People who use menstrual cup, they have to insert the cup up there. The reason being that here when the blood flows from the uterus, it gets collected in that cup, and the cup is going to be removed, washed off, sanitized, and can be used again. Similarly, that is the case of diaphragm as well. When you put diaphragm, basically the sperms which are going to be there, the sperms will not be able to enter the female body. But again, I want to tell you, in this case, there will be exchange of fluids and stuff like that. Why? Because you're not providing any covering on either of the side. This has just been capped on the cervix out there, or in the vaginal region. Okay, so obviously the penis which is inserted over here has direct contact with the female reproductive tract as well. So that can cause, that will not be preventing STDs. Only the condom that we have studied prevents STDs, to remember that. Okay, so depending on the size and what it covers and everything, we have different names. This is going to be diaphragm, that covers vagina as well as the cervical region. Then there is cervical cap, which is even smaller. They cover only the cervix region. Then they have vault. Vault is basically, can be spongy and things like that, which basically function on a different basis. They kill the sperms. Okay, they release certain things that kills the sperm. So yes, so rubber barriers inserted into the female reproductive tract, those are these things, and they cover the cervix, preventing the sperm entry. It is definitely reusable. It is definitely going to be reusable. So you have diaphragms, you have cervical caps, and you have walls. Cool? Yes. And the last thing that we have under this barrier method itself is spermicidal creams. So whatever thing is being used over here, that is whether it be condom, whether it be diaphragm or things like that, mostly it is used along with some spermicidal creams. What do you mean by spermicidal creams? The creams that are going to, the things that are going to kill the sperms. Okay, they are going to kill the sperms. So spermicidal creams, jellies, foams, etc. are being used along with the barriers to increase the contraceptive efficiency. This is how it generally looks. Okay, so it is not a necessity to be used, but yes, people can use it if at all they wish. So this is about the barrier method. Again, this can be used along with it, and yeah. So we have done natural method, recall, what is it? In natural method, periodic abstinence, withdrawal method, and then what do you have? You have lactational amenorrhea. Amenorrhea means no menstruation. And over here in barrier method, you have condom, diaphragm, vault, and cervical caps. Cool? Children, everyone liking the video? Liking what I'm teaching over here? If yes, as I said, do let me know in the comment section. I'll be really happy to know about that. And also, if you have any other doubts that you want to ask me, you can ask me. Okay, I'm not gonna ignore you for sure. Yes. Now, coming to this particular thing, that is, if at all you want the PDF for everything that I'm teaching over here, and also if you want to have an understanding of the proper classes that are being taken up. Okay, that is in our channel, what our academic sections are being taken up, you have to check out a link that is given in the description section of the video. The link says free KCET series. So that is actually free. Okay, that is actually free. You can make the best use of it. Click on that link. You have to go and open the link. It is going to be there as buy now. There will be a buy now option. Actually, the pricing is 0. Okay, it's 0 rupees. You can just click there. You will be ending up somewhere over here. ACE KCET 2027. You will be able to see something like this. You can click on that. You will be seeing subject-wise segregation, biology, mathematics, physics, and everything. Okay, now if you click on this, all the bio lectures that have been taken up till date will be visible over there. So it will be easy for you to understand what all things have been covered. Similarly, you are planning to give you assignments and everything over there as well. So definitely, so suppose this is how it looks. Human reproduction part 3, spermatogenesis, oogenesis has been covered. So this was done in the YouTube live, but if you're someone who's not able to find all of it, you can use this. Okay, and again, one more very important thing, there is a WhatsApp channel link also under the description section. Make sure you join that. We are not going to spam you and create a ruckus out there. It's for you guys only. We are going to build a community. We already have a community of a lot of children out there. Now obviously they are your seniors, they will be moving out, and you are the new people who are going to be there. We are going to do a lot of videos for you, so we are going to update you about all the videos in the channel. That is why I'm telling you, please make sure you go join that. Okay, yes, cool. Now we go ahead with the next method that we have is the intrauterine method. Okay, intrauterine method, this is actually very different and a nice method. And over here, how do I show it? Okay, I'm going to, we go one by one or study all of it together. We study all of it together, then I show you the pictures. Okay, or probably I can show you the pictures first. This is the first thing that we're going to talk about. It looks like a loop, like a structure, right? It is known as lipase loop. It is put inside the uterus. Similarly, over here you see these things. Okay, this looks like a T. This is known as copper T. Why? Because it is covered by copper. This is copper 7. It looks like a 7 covered by copper, and this is going to be multi-load 375. Again, I know it will take time for you to remember the names, but yes, you will. So this is copper releasing something. Okay, then you have something like this which is not covered by anything. It looks like a T but without copper. So this is some other type of intrauterine device. So basically now I probably can explain you about the 3 intrauterine devices that is there. Okay, for that I have to make 3 uterus as well. So the first uterus goes like this, the second uterus goes like this, and the third uterus goes like this. Everyone have hit on the subscribe button, no? Have shared it with your friends also, no? Make sure you do that. Now the first thing that, as I showed you, that we have is the lipase loop. That the first thing that we have is the lipase loop. Just give me a second. Okay. What does lipase loop do? And why is it inserted inside the uterus? So this is considered to be non-medicated IUD. The first type of IUD, which is known as the non-medicated IUD, non-medicated intrauterine device. Inside the uterus we are putting this device. That is why it comes under intrauterine devices, or what is the meaning of IUD? Intrauterine devices. And this is non-medicated as in it is not going to release anything inside the uterus. It will definitely not release anything inside the uterus. Ma'am, if it is not releasing anything, is just there, then what's the use? So basically, whenever something foreign comes inside our body, okay, what will be our body's first response? Be active. Be active, because it could be a pathogen, it could be a problematic guy, and we need to kill that. That means that our immunological cells which are there, they are going to become super active. By the way, this is the angel ring that is there, okay? They are going to become super active over here. Now suppose there is insemination that took place. Do you think that these immunological cells which are there, they will spare these sperms? No, they will definitely go and kill the sperms. I call this process as phagocytosis of sperms. Phagocytosis of sperms. You might have seen that in amoeba. Amoeba, you've studied about amoeba whole your life, right? So basically, amoeba, what does it do? It takes in the food like this. Similarly, we have immunological cells in our body which are going to do phagocytosis. They're going to take the sperm and kill it inside. Okay, so phagocytosis sperms happen. If sperm is killed over here, do you think it will be able to go and fuse with the eggs out there? No, okay, no way. Okay, so over here, lipase loop is something that is inert as it is not going to cause any trouble up there. It's just there. It is just going to make the immunological cells active up there, saying that I am foreign, but someone else foreign is going to come and is going to cause trouble to you, so you have to take care of that. So these guys cannot affect the lipase loop, but definitely it can affect the sperms out there. And as I said, it leads to phagocytosis of sperm. That is the basic logic. Next thing, since someone is already in the way for the sperm to move, it will be very, very difficult. That is also one more thing. Anyway, I hope you have got non-medicated IUD, right? Phagocytosis of sperm, example is lipase loop. It's loop-like structure. The next thing that we have is the copper-releasing IUD. Now, the copper-releasing IUD which is there can be of multiple types. It's not just of one type, it can be of multiple types, and they are covered by the copper. Okay, they are going to be covered by the copper. So basically, what's the use of it? So first of all, I'll give the examples for them. The examples for them, the first one is going to be CU7. Why is not working? Too much trouble. Yeah. The Cu7, it looks like a 7-shaped thing. Then you have CuT, copper T, and then finally you have something that is known as multi-load 375. So 375 unit of the copper ions are being released. That is why it is known as multi-load. It is having too much amount of copper that is being released. They are the examples. And they broadly come under what? Here you call them as non-medicated IUD, right? Here you are going to call them as copper releasing IUDs. Copper releasing IUDs. What do the copper do? What's the use of copper being released? Baba, copper is something that is going to hold this sperm tail. No, I'm just joking. I'm saying that copper is something that does not, or basically I can say, it suppresses the sperm motility. It does not allow the sperm to move around very, very easily. So I'll say the sperm motility which is there. Sperm motility is going to be reduced. Now, if sperm motility is reduced or suppressed, do you think the sperm can travel through and go fertilize the egg out there? It cannot move up there. That is first thing. Okay, there is one more thing that it does. It reduces the fertilizing capacity also. Two reduction is there. First one is sperm motility. Second one is the fertilizing capacity. Second one is going to be the fertilizing capacity of the sperm is also being reduced at this particular level. Got it? So Cu7, CuT, multi-load 375, everyone, they are super important over here for you to remember. Cool? Cool, man. Okay, now let's go ahead with the next thing. So Cu7, CuT, multi-load 375, copper releasing IUD, sperm motility is reduced and they reduce the fertilizing capacity. Sometimes they also lead to phagocytosis of sperm, that is also there, but okay, anyways, you have got an understanding of these two functions. Now there is one more guy which is super important. It also looks like T, it can be in multiple shape. Anyway, it is not covered by copper. It is not going to be covered by copper and all. Basically, examples for this is LNG20. You know CNG, just like that, there is LNG20. And apart from LNG20, there is something else that is known as Progestasert. Progestasert. Now, with that name, you can guess that it has something to do with progesterone hormone. Right? Basically, they are going to be hormone-releasing IUDs. Hormone-releasing IUDs. They're going to release the hormones. And when I say they're releasing the hormones, what are they doing? Is there something big that they're doing? Yes. So at this point, I want your attention. Hormone-releasing IUD, oral pills that you're going to study, there's something that is known as implants. Implants are put inside your body. All of them has similar function. They're going to release hormones. What hormones? Progesterone, estrogen combination. Either progesterone alone or progesterone estrogen combination is going to be released. What's the problem if they are released? I told you, if estrogen, progesterone are in high amount, FSH and LH is less in amount. If FSH and LH, follicle stimulating hormone, is less in amount, do you think the follicles are going to generate? No. There is no growth in follicle, that means no ovulation also later on. Right? Right. Okay, you need FSH for the follicles to generate first. Okay, then definitely these follicles are going to release estrogen. These estrogen are going to increase in amount. That's when LH is also going to be increased. That's a whole different thing. As of now, we just have estrogen and progesterone in the body. FSH and LH is not there. Initial part is missing. So obviously, we cannot expect ovulation to happen. So can I say ovulation is hampered? Ovulation is not going to be happen. Second thing that is being hampered over here is implantation. Why implantation? So when I say that naturally when you have estrogen and progesterone, it's okay. But right now, you're giving extra amount of it, which is why progesterone, which was responsible for thickening of the endometrium, the innermost lining of the uterus, that is endometrium, it was responsible for thickening of it. But right now, in this condition, it is making it thin. It is making it thin. In this case, if it is thin endometrium, you only imagine. Suppose fertilization happened. Somehow fertilization happened. It came and tried. The zygote is formed, then it forms the embryo. Embryo comes and directly tries to attach over here. Do you think it will be able to stay over here? No, Baba, because it is a thin endometrium. There will not be successful implantation. So no ovulation, no implantation. Then what? Then one more thing. You have the cervix over here, right? And cervix usually secretes mucus. But this time, under the influence of these hormones, basically it is going to create a mucus plug. It is going to create a mucus plug. What's the issue with the mucus plug? Baba, the mucus plug which is there, it will not allow the sperm to enter the enter the uterus out there. It will not allow the entrance of the sperm to the uterus or the reproductive tract out there. So can I say mucus plug formation? Mucus plug formation. And please remember, all this function that I am talking about over here remains the same for hormone releasing IUD, for oral pills, for implants, for emergency contraceptive, everything. So ovulation, implantation and mucus plug formation happens over here in the hormone releasing IUD. The examples for that is LNG20 and Progesta CERT. LNG stands for levonorgestrel. Basically it's again a synthetic form of progesterone itself. Okay, so we are giving synthetic form of progesterone out there. So these are the three things. I'll just revise. Non-medicated IUD does not do anything till pill, but it makes the immune cells very active, which is why if at all sperm comes in, basically it leads to phagocytosis of the sperms. Okay, who does it? The immunological cells out there. Then we have copper releasing IUD, CU7, QT, okay, QT, then CU7 and multiload 375. Multiload 375. Basically what do? They reduce two things: sperm motility, sperms will not be able to move, and also reduces the fertilizing capacity. The third one is hormone releasing IUD. You have two examples, LNG20 and Progesta CERT. What do? They do not allow anything. If at all you do not remember estrogen, progesterone and things like that, what do? FSH and LH. Understand this thing. They will not do the normal function. So it was helping in ovulation, now it won't. It was helping in implantation, now it won't. Okay, and also it creates one thing that it was not doing, that is, it creates a mucus plug. Does not allow the sperm to enter the female body. Done. And now we can see their pictures nicely. So this is lipase loop, and this is exactly what I said. Non-medicated IUD increase phagocytosis of the sperm. The uterus immune response is triggered, leading to white blood cells attacking the sperms, reducing their survival. Uterus immune response is triggered by what? By putting it inside the body. By the way, who puts it inside the body? The medical professionals. Only we cannot do that. The medical professionals are going to do it. And this is very, very important about intrauterine devices. The intrauterine devices, they are considered to be the best ones. They are considered to be one of the most widely accepted contraceptives apart from the oral pills. Okay, apart from the pills which are being used, intrauterine devices are considered to be, so there are two widely accepted things. One is oral pills and one is this. And this is also considered to be the best for spacing children. For example, one couple had a child and now they want to have children after 5 years. But they definitely will be having sexual intercourse, but they do not want to have children for 5 years. Right? So for that, the female can have, an intrauterine device implanted in her body. That is basically inside the uterus. So it's best for spacing the children as well. Okay, so it will not lead to, conception, but there are definitely side effects to it. Okay, so this is lipase loop. The next one, as I said, this is copper T, this is copper 7, and this is multi-load 375. Okay, these ions reduce the sperm motility, making it difficult for the sperm to swim. They also alter the sperm's fertilizing capacity. Right, done. Then we have this one, hormone releasing IUD, Progesta CERT and LNG20 are the examples. Release hormones such as progestin or levonorgestrel. Basically, they are nothing but the synthetic form of progesterone itself. These hormones thicken the cervical mucus, making it difficult for the sperm to enter the uterus. They thin the uterine lining, endometrium, making it unsuitable for implantation. And finally, in some cases, they may also inhibit ovulation. They will not allow ovulation to happen. This can also take place. Cool. Now we go ahead. We have studied everything. It's best for spacing children and is one of the most widely accepted contraceptive as well. So I'm not going to repeat again. Let's go ahead with the question. The popular and effective contraceptives includes IUD. Mention the types of IUD with an example of each. This is a 3-marker question. So you talk about each of them, give the example first, then say what do they do. One helps in phagocytosis, other helps in reducing the sperm motility and prevents fertilization, other basically blocks the sperm entry, inhibit ovulation, and this. Whatever we have discussed so far, you have to write the answer in like this. Got it? Done, ma'am. Next one. The picture shows a contraceptive device used by women. Identify the contraceptive device shown in the picture and mention how it prevents fertilization and conception. What is this? Baba, this is going to be the copper T. This is going to be the T thing that is there. So you have to mention that this is copper T, copper releasing intrauterine device. How does it prevent fertilization? You say that it reduces motility and fertilizing capacity. Okay, and makes the uterus unsuitable for implantation as well. And increases phagocytosis. So obviously you can write all of these points. If at all Okay, if at all you feel that that is too much, at least writing this much would be way too, that is also a good deal, because in your NCERT there is no too much information about it. But as I said, sometimes yes, it can lead to phagocytosis of sperms, and sometimes yes, it can make the uterus unsuitable for the process of implantation to happen, for the embryo to come and get implanted. That is also there. If you wish, you can go ahead and write it. Okay. Now we go ahead with oral contraceptive pills. So natural method over, barrier method over, IUD is over. Now the next widely accepted method that we have after IUD is oral contraceptive pills, and it's very easy. We spoke about it already. They contain progestogens or progestogen-estrogen combination. What do you mean by progestogen and progesterone? Are they different? So basically progestogen is basically what I say as a broader term. Under this comes progesterone, which is a natural hormone, and apart from it you can have so many synthetic hormones as well, which are chemically being made. Okay, so progestogen is a broader term under which you can have the natural hormone as well as the synthetic one. So anyways, so oral pills contain the progestogens or progestogen-estrogen combination, taken daily for 21 days. As I said, if at all you let a space, estrogen, progesterone has to be there in the body. If at all you give a space for them to get lower down, what is going to happen? The FSH is going to increase and then ovulation will happen. If you give a larger space, if you give a small space, then it's okay. So actually it is taken for 21 days, starting within the first 5 days of the cycle. 7-day gap is there. Why? For the menstruation to happen. Do you think the actual menstruation is happening over here? No. Why? Because actual ovulation is not happening. No. Do you think actual ovulation is happening? No. But anyway, since we are giving progesterone, estrogen in the body, there will be a thin lining of endometrium, and we have to shed it down. We have to shed it down. That is why we give a space of 5 days, such that that thin lining which is there sheds down. Okay, so it's not actual menstruation. Don't think like that. But so there will be a gap of 7 days. Apart from it, 21 days. Every single day you have to take it. Okay, as I said, the good part of the story is we have Saheli, which is non-steroidal. We are not taking any drugs over here. We are not taking any hormones over here. Rather, basically, as I said, it is going to block the receptors. It does not allow the signal to go forward. So that is why it is considered to be good, and it's a once in a week pill also. Okay, and as we spoke about hormone releasing IUD over here, they inhibit ovulation, implantation, everything, alters the cervical mucus, preventing the sperm entry, effective and widely accepted with minimal side effects. So everything that we studied there is right over here also. Yeah, okay, and this is just for you guys to understand, but anyway, I had discussed about it. So that's all about oral contraceptive pills as well. I hope it works. You're understanding, kids, right? Children, at any point you feel that, ma'am, I have a doubt somewhere. Why is this happening? Why is this happening? You can ask me in the comment section. Okay, now mention any 2 events that are inhibited by the intake of oral contraceptive pills to prevent pregnancy in human. 2 events that are inhibited by intake of oral contraceptive pills. Ovulation, they stop the release of ovum. Implantation, they make the uterine lining unsuitable for implantation. Just discuss that. 2-mark question. Now if you have understood the concept, will you be able to answer it? Yes, ma'am. That's all. And I really request you to go and try some NEET level of questions also, and check whether you're able to do that. Some KCET questions also. I'm pretty sure you will be able to do that. Now we have all about implants. What are implants? Implants are something that are basically put under our skin. Okay, they are not eaten. Basically, they are done. It's put by doctors. As you see, this is something that is given in the NCERT. Again, this picture-based question can come. They can ask you, what is this? Don't write copper T. Okay, this is going to be implants. Just one small things. Basically, they can be put inside the body, and they are going to release. They are going to release the hormones progestogen and estrogen. Again, either progestogen or progesterone and estrogen in combination. So it comes in the form of injectables. You can inject it, or as in injectables, as in injections, or there can be implants which you can put under the skin. It is longer lasting than pills. So in pills, obviously it is short-lived. Whatever amount that you're giving over here, for some days only, it is, or basically for a day, the level of estrogen is going to be high and things like that. But this is going to be something that is long-lived. Cool. It also inhibits ovulation and implantation. I told you, whenever hormones are coming into the action, they are going to do all of this thing. They will not allow ovulation and implantation to take place. Okay, and they also alter cervical mucus. Okay, so we have done that also. Oral pill is done. So, and then implants and injectable is done. Now we come to the next thing, which is known as surgical method. This is going to be different, something that we have not studied so far, and it is important as well. So listen about surgical method. Okay, In the case of surgical method, it's going to be irreversible. You cannot reverse this action. Why? Because you're going to cut something off from your body. Okay, you're going to cut something off from your body. That does not mean you're removing the entire organ. So listen to me carefully. In the case of male body, we have studied in the chapter that is human reproduction, there is vast difference which carries the sperm from the scrotum to basically the upper part of the body. What if we make a cut over here? Ma'am, that's so sad. Yes, that is being done. Does it cause any trouble? No trouble. Basically, it's the small incision is being done in the scrotum itself. Okay, in the scrotum itself, a small incision is being done, and through that incision, as you see over here, basically it is being pulled. The vast difference is being pulled and basically cut and being tied off. Okay. Now, I am pretty sure that you might have a question on this, or probably you may have no question about this, but when you see a question in the examination, you will be like, oh my god, do I know the answer for this or not? So listen to me carefully. The question goes like this: will spermatogenesis happen in this case in a man who has underwent the sterilization process that is known as a surgical method, okay, which is known as vasectomy, cutting off the vas difference? Do you think he will be having spermatogenesis? He will be normally producing sperm? The answer is yes. Sperms are produced over here, it will still be produced. It will go up till this particular point and will not be able to go forward. What happens to these sperms? They get degenerated. Every single time the sperms are going to be produced. Ma'am, okay, so that means you're saying spermatogenesis is going to take place. Yes, definitely. So ma'am, do they ejaculate during the process of sexual intercourse? The answer is yes. What do they ejaculate? They do not have the sperm. We have studied about the accessory glands, seminal vesicle, prostate gland, bulbourethral gland. They all release what? Seminal plasma. If you remember, we had studied about the seminal plasma. So this seminal plasma is still being released. It is going to be still being released. This seminal plasma, does it have, will it have sperm? No. So usually seminal plasma plus sperm is what we call as semen. So this time semen is going to be produced, but without sperm. Only seminal plasma will be there. That is a whitish fluid that is going to be released. Sperms are generally microscopic. Okay, they are going to be, not generally, they are microscopic in nature. So ejaculation is going to happen, but they will be having semen without sperm. Spermatogenesis is also going to happen. Okay, so this is a permanent contraceptive method for males and the females. What is the principle? Again, this one prevents gamete transport. It's not about the gamete meeting or not. It's about preventing the gamete transport, and that is successfully being done over here. In the case of males, it is basically the vas difference which is being cut. In the case of females, it is going to be the fallopian tube. Now again, when I cut the fallopian tube over here, okay, how do I have to do? A small incision is being done, and through that, basically with the help of a sucker and things like that, it is being taken out and it is being cut and tied up. That's how it is done. Again, the question is, ma'am, first of all, what do you call it? Tubectomy. Over here, is she going to ovulate every month? The answer is yes. Every single month, ovary is going to release the ovum, but it is going to be staying up there. It cannot move beyond. It is going to get degenerated. Ma'am, will this person have menstruation? Yes. Why? Because ovulation is happening. Hormones are anyway active. They are going to help with menstruation. What is menstruation? The falling of the endometrium and everything out there. Right? So that cycle also works properly. Why? Because hormones are anyway released. They will be anyway prepared. They do not know that this cut has to taken place over here in their body. So they are going to prepare every single time. So menstruation is also very much normal. That is going to happen up there. So this is vasectomy. This is tubectomy. Fallopian tube is cut or tied via a small abdominal or vaginal incision. Either abdominal incision or probably vaginal incision is being done to cut this. Here the scrotal incision is being done. Through the scrotum it is being cut. Effectiveness and limitation. Highly effective in preventing pregnancy, actually the highest. Okay, reversibility is going to be very, very poor. That's the worst part about this particular process, that is known as sterilization. Got it? So yes, I hope I have answered the question that probably were in your head or probably was not, but when I spoke about it, it's like, oh, I didn't think like that. Okay, now we come to the last one, which is under this contraceptive thing, that is emergency contraceptive. Emergency contraceptive means what? First of all, they are the ones which are used during a situation which is not planned. For example, rape. For example, unprotected sexual intercourse. Now, obviously, in a situation like rape, which should ideally not happen to anyone on this entire planet, if it happens, basically, no one prefers to, keep the pregnancy ongoing, or not keep the pregnancy ongoing. They do not want pregnancy to happen. Not pregnancy ongoing, that is a whole different thing. That will be abortion. This is, they do not want the pregnancy to happen. That is why we need contraceptive. So these are emergency contraceptives which has to be used within 72 hours of coitus, sexual intercourse. Okay, within 72 hours of sexual intercourse, they have to be used. Why? Because in the initial part, the zygote forms an embryo comes, and basically within the 5th day, it comes and attaches to the endometrium. You want to prevent that. So 72 hours means 3 days time. Within the 3 days time before this, zygote has formed. Suppose zygote has formed, fertilization has taken place, zygote has been formed, and later, first of all, it wants to prevent ovulation. First of all, the first thing is that when you talk about emergency contraceptives, you are going to give hormones, the same hormones, progesterone, estrogen combination, or progesterone alone. You are going to make sure that ovulation has not taken place. Suppose ovulation has taken place, I'm explaining above the 72-hour window. Suppose ovulation has taken place, this sperm has come over here, has fused together, has formed the zygote forms the embryo. Now it is dividing. Only on the 5th day it is going to come and get implanted. Now within 3 days itself, if at all you could do something, that then implantation could be prevented. That means pregnancy. Okay, the starting of pregnancy could be technically be prevented. That is why 72 hours is being mentioned. And also please note, the sperms which are being released can stay inside the body for 5 days. Okay, they technically can stay inside the body actively for 5 days. So which is, again, it is mentioned that it should be used within 72 hours of the unprotected sexual intercourse out there, and it has to be used, as I said, if any unfortunate events happen. Okay, so that is about the emergency contraceptives, and for that, as I said, the pills that are there, they are acting as emergency contraceptives. Hormone releasing IUDs, they can also act like emergency contraceptives. Cool? Yes. Now we go ahead with a question, that is, what are emergency contraceptives? Write their hormonal combination. So emergency contraceptives are pills used to prevent, or basically I can say medicines. Okay, I'll rather not use the term pills, I'll just say emergency contraceptives are used to prevent pregnancy after unprotected sexual intercourse or contraceptive failure. Contraceptive failure, that can also happen. Sometimes the condom can break open and the sperms can be transferred. So they are intended for use within a short window, that is usually within 72 hours after the event. What are the hormonal combination? Administration of progesterone or progesterone-estrogen combinations. Now it can be in the form of oral pills or basically hormone releasing IUDs and things like that. Got it? Yes, ma'am. So this is a 2-marker question that has come from this particular topic. Similarly, what is contraception? Briefly explain 2 natural methods and 2 surgical method. This was a 3-marker method. So 3-marker question. So contraception is to prevent conception which are useful to the methods. So again, so sorry. Now it will more. Come on, work. Yes. So over here I can write they are what? Just a second. So sorry. Yes, they are going to be the methods which are useful to control childbirth and unwanted pregnancy is known as contraception. And then you go talk about the natural method, periodic abstinence, withdrawal method. If at all you want to talk about lactational amenorrhea, you can do so. But please explain what is the nature, how does it work and everything out there. Similarly, surgical method, we have 2, tubectomy as well as waxectomy. Talk about it. Okay. So this is how we have to explain. The reason I'm not explaining again is because we have already done it at the first place, right? Yes. Now we go ahead, and that is with the questions. Question with the concept. Select the incorrect statement about contraceptives. Okay, this is actually question with the concept, as in the last paragraph which is there in contraception is actually important, but we tend not to read it. We do not take too much care in reading that particular portion, but actually we had got one KCET question in the year 2021 from that. Okay, so select the incorrect statement about the contraceptives. You have to find the incorrect one. The first one, they are regular requirements for the maintenance of reproductive health. Second one, they have regular requirements means every person should be basically who is taking care of their reproductive health should be making use of what? Contraceptives, because they are regular requirements. That is what is written over here. They have significant role in checking uncontrolled growth of population. They are something that could limit the population growth. That is what you mean by that. They are practiced against a natural reproductive event like conception or pregnancy. So they are against, or basically they work against the whole process of pregnancy as well as conception. Last one, the possible ill effects like nausea, abdominal pain. Nausea means feeling to vomit. Okay, abdominal pain, irregular menstrual bleeding, or even breast cancer should not be totally ignored. They are saying that contraceptives have these ill effects as well that should not be ignored. What do you think is going to be the incorrect statement? That is a question. What do you think is going to be the incorrect statement? And I'm not going to give you the answer for this. I really want you guys to give me the answer for this. Put it down. This is your homework. Go read out the paragraph. If you read the paragraph, you will get to know it. Okay, just after contraception, read the paragraph and let me know the answer in the comment section. I really want to know who are those children who went in, who probably reached until this particular point and giving me the answer for this. I'll be really, really happy. So please do so. Okay, that's a homework that I'm giving to you guys. Okay, and I explained you the thing that I asked also, right? So I think it's fair to ask you that. Okay, now we are going ahead with the next thing, that is medical termination of pregnancy. Okay, so we were speaking about RCH program, we spoke about what they did and things like that, and we came up to contraceptive, which was also an initiative of the RCH program. Now we come to MTP. This is also an initiative of RCH program itself. Okay, it comes under medical assistance and stuff like that. All the thing, contraception and everything, right? So over here when I say MTP, medical termination of pregnancy, that means you're talking about abortion. But this is not a natural abortion. This is not natural abortion, this is induced abortion. Induced abortion means this is done on a will, on a purpose. This is induced abortion. Always remember, induced abortion, it's not naturally occurring, that is why it is known as medical termination of pregnancy. Now, over here, what is MTP? Is it legal in our country? MTP means voluntary. By your will, voluntary termination of pregnancy before full term. It is also known as induced abortion. Okay, legal status in India, it was legalized in 1971 with strict conditions to prevent misuse. So in which year was it legalized, Baba? Please remember this. This is an important MCQ question. 1971. Okay, 1971 it was being legalized, and I will tell you a way to remember the year. 1951, family planning. 20 years after that, this. Okay, when is someone allowed to undergo this? Or basically, under what conditions can someone undergo MTP? This is also a question that comes in second PUC. So when it is risk to mother's life or serious physical, mental health injury. If it is risk to mother's life or it causes serious mental, physical health injury to the mother, it is advisable. Second thing, risk of severe physical, mental abnormalities in the unborn child, the child who is there. If at all there is a risk to the child, whether it be physical or mental and things like that, then it is advisable to go ahead with MTP. If there is unwanted pregnancy, now this is the third thing, okay, advisable is actually these two only. So if at all you have been asked this question, you have to go with this. But again, people undergo induced abortion if there is unwanted pregnancy either due to casual unprotected intercourse or failure of contraceptive use during the coitus or rapes. Now for the rapes, definitely they can undergo MTP for sure. Now if people fail, contraceptive fail, then also sometimes people do undergo MTPs out there. But these two are the advisable reasons for someone to undergo MTP along with rapes. Okay, when it is problem or in risk to mother's life and also the fetus's life out there. Okay, let's go. We spoke about the MTP, we spoke about that it was legalized in the year 1971, and we spoke about when it should be used. Okay, now, is it safe for the mother? That is very important. Is it safe? Is performing MTP safe for the mother? The answer is yes. But there is a catch. Okay, there is going to be a catch. It is safe up to 12 weeks. It is going to be safe up to 12 weeks. Okay, you're one uncle. Thank you. Okay, so it is safe up to 12 weeks. By 12 weeks, what do I mean? In each month, how many weeks do you have? You have 4. 4 weeks in each month. So 12 weeks means basically 12 divided by 4, 3 months. We're talking about 3 months. So 12 weeks means 3 months or the first trimester. If at all someone is doing MTP or undergoing MTP within the first trimester, that is up to 12 weeks of pregnancy, it is considered to be relatively safe. Now, can MTP be performed after 3 months as well? The answer is yes, it can be. Until what time? It can be done until the second trimester. That is basically, second trimester means second set of 3 months, that is 6 months in total. And 6 months, how many weeks? 6 into 4, 24 weeks. You can get questions like this, 24 weeks, 12 weeks and things like that. That's why I'm telling you, know the calculation. 1 month, 4 weeks. Okay, so 12 weeks means 3 months, 24 weeks means 6 months. So people can undergo, MTP in the second trimester as well, but it is going to be riskier. So what is safe to be done over here? It can be done beyond it. Yes, definitely it can be done beyond it until 6 months out there or second trimester out there, but it is considered to be riskier. So if at all you have been asked this question, until what time it is considered to be safe? 3 months. Even if this option is also there, until what time it is considered to be safe? 3 months. Until what time it can be done? 6 months. Okay, but it is going to be risky. Cool. Now people, do they misuse this? Yes, people, they did misuse this. People do female feticide after knowing the sex determination via amniocentesis. That is why amniocentesis is also banned. They basically understood the sex of the child via amniocentesis. They went ahead with female feticide also. Okay, and you know what? Since we all, not we, right now have grown up a little bit, but my heart is little very young. Okay, and I am thinking that I'm young only. 29 is not a big age, right? I hope so. Anyways. So basically I'm trying to say that when we are small kids, not exactly very small, when we reach teenage, when we hit teenage, there are a lot of changes in our body. And not just changes in our body, there's a lot of changes in the talks that we do, the friends that we have, the things that we generally get to see. All of it changes. Okay, which is why we move on to an exploration phase. A lot of things we'll explore and things like that. And let me tell you something very honestly. These things have happened. Okay, suppose someone gets pregnant and their parents do not know about it. No one knows about it at home. It's going to be a ruckus. People go, since they are scared of telling it to their parents, admitting it before someone else, they go to people who do MTPs. Now they claim to be doctors or nurses out there, but they would be mostly unqualified. They could be mostly unqualified, or if they are qualified as well, if they are good doctors, if they are doctors as well, they might ask you for so much money, they might blackmail you, do this, do that. So many things could happen, and this has happened. There are so many people who have lost their lives because of these reasons out there. So first of all, the best thing that could be done is to not experiment things right now. Okay, let us, each of us, grow. Okay, the second thing is that if by any chance something like that has happened, please open up to someone who is elder than you, who understand things and probably could be taking care of it. But you should not be suffering alone for this. Do understand that. First of all, there is no need of suffering if at all you avoid things in the first place. Please make sure, my dear children, you have the rest of your life to try out a lot of things out there. Please make sure you restrict yourself from doing anything that could harm you only. Okay, so please know that. So majority of MTPs are performed illegally by unqualified cogs, which are not only unsafe but could be fatal too. So they are, majority of the MTPs which are done, medical termination of pregnancy, they are done by unqualified, as in people who are not very qualified. They are done by unqualified cogs, and they are not only, unsafe, but it could be leading to death as well. Now this is an assertion reason question. I still remember the question. It goes like this: MTPs are performed by qualified cogs who basically this is it that is statement number 1 and things like that, and basically that is statement. So we usually feel that it should be unqualified. Now how can it be qualified? So don't think like that. Okay, MTP can be performed by these guys and it can be fatal, but it can be done by unqualified people also and can be safe as well. So either way, if the thing comes, not be confused. Okay, don't say the statement is wrong because unqualified has not been mentioned. If it is qualified and they have written, if it is qualified, it has to be really good. At the end product will be what? A proper medical termination of pregnancy would happen. It will not have any effect. So please make sure you read your options carefully and understand it. It's not be like, okay, it's written in the NCERT, only unqualified people do it. No, qualified people also do it, and if they do it, probably it could be leading to a safer ending out there. You get it? So that is there. Please understand that. This is a question that has come. That is why I'm telling you. Okay, so what have you understood about MTP in overall? That what is MTP? Voluntary termination of pregnancy. And the second one, it was legalized in legalized in our country in 1971. And basically, when does someone undergo this? When it is risk to mother's life, or it can be fatal to the baby's life, okay, or the fetus life. Now, the next thing is it okay for the safe for the mother? It can be safe for the mother up to 12 weeks. That is the first trimester, or the 3 months. Beyond that, 6 months is also fine, but it could be riskier. Now, people do misuse it. Yes, people do misuse it, okay, and there were so many deaths being reported, which is exactly why in the year 2017, so in the year 1971, it was legalized. Now, if you do ulta, okay, add 1 over here, it becomes 20. Add this 1 over here, it becomes 20. Now, do the ulta of this, it becomes 17. 1 here, 7 here. 2017, Medical Termination of Pregnancy Amendment Act was being forwarded, according to which, since all of this was ongoing, their aim was to reduce illegal abortions and maternal mortality rate. Mothers were dying up there, children were dying up there. So illegal abortions, to reduce that, their aim was that. And basically what they came up with is, if at all someone wants to undergo MTP up to 12 weeks, they are allowed to do so if they have a permission of one registered medical practitioner out there. If someone wants to undergo MTP, okay, between 12 to 24 weeks, that is the second trimester, then they require the permission of 2 registered medical practitioners out there. This is just for everyone's safety that it was being done. Okay, so permission of 2 people's medical practitioners after 3 months, that is basically 6 months. In the first 3 months, basically you just need 1 medical practitioner's approval. This was medical termination of pregnancy under Medical Termination of Pregnancy Amendment Act, given in the year 2017. So family planning in 1951, 20 years after that, everything is around 20 years after that, 1971, your legalization of MTP in India. Then 2017, basically, as I said, Amendment Act was also being put forward. Got it? Yes, ma'am. Okay, then let's go on to the next thing. So this is how MTP is being done. This is again informational, and these videos are from Eklesia Muskherjee. Due credits to them, and if at all you want, you can go and check it out. Abortion procedures, first, second, and third trimester is being given over here. I'll play the video. Just give me a second.
Taking RU46, the woman takes misoprostol, also called Cytotec, that is administered either orally or vaginally.
Okay.
RU46.
Okay, so over here, basically some medicines, drugs are being put, which is why there is going to be contraction and basically everything that is there. Okay, suppose a small embryo has been implanted in there, everything sheds down. That is one way of doing things, and the other way is also there, which is right over here.
Into the uterus.
Okay, so within the uterus, a suction tube has been put, and basically it has been sucked out, every single part of it. So yes, and then there is with the help of medicines as well. The reason I am showing this to you is to scare you. Yes, I'm not joking. It's to scare you. Is that true? No. Listen, it's to make you aware of things, that things are not as easy as it seems. So just because of one moment of the thought that you are, okay, I'm ready to experiment things, don't do that, because it's a lot more beyond that. Okay, so please understand that. Yes. Now, what is medical termination of pregnancy? Mention any 2 medical grounds on which pregnancy can be terminated. Medical termination of pregnancy is the intentional and legal termination of pregnancy by medical or surgical methods under approved medical supervision. And 2 medical grounds for terminating the pregnancy are: first, if it is risk to the life of the mother or grave injury to her physical or mental health; second, severe congenital, as in genetic abnormalities or genetic defects in the fetus that may lead to serious physical or mental disability. These are 2 things legalized in 1971 and Medical Termination Amendment Act in the year 2017. It was being put forward. Cool? Cool, ma'am. There's a 3-marker question that has come from this topic. And my dear children, I hope this way of learning is helping you to understand the concepts and to see what type of questions are also coming in, right? And I believe that you're able to solve all these questions as well. Now comes sexually transmitted diseases, or you also call them as STIs, sexually transmitted infections, STDs or STIs. You also call this as venereal diseases. You also call this as venereal diseases. You also call this as reproductive tract infections, RTI. So you have 3 names for it, okay, sexually transmitted infection or STDs. Apart from that, venereal diseases. Apart from it, you have reproductive tract infections. Reproductive tract infections. These are 3 names that you have. For the diseases, for infections or diseases which are transmitted through sexual intercourse are collectively called as these things. These diseases are going to be transferred through sexual intercourse. Now, can these diseases be passed through some other way also? Some of them, not all of them, some of them are going to be passed through. But the basic categorization in all of them, one thing that is common is that all of the diseases that I'm going to talk about over here can be passed through sexual intercourse. That is a major thing, right? Okay, now example, wrong, it's examples, you have so many of them: gonorrhea, syphilis, chlamydia, genital warts, trichomoniasis, genital herpes, hepatitis B and HIV/AIDS. Okay, how many of them? Basically there are 8 of them, and we can just quickly just go through it once more. So I'm just gonna, just a second, yes. What do we have? Gonorrhea, okay, we have gonorrhea, syphilis, chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, chlamydia, genital warts, trichomoniasis, genital herpes, hepatitis B, HIV/AIDS. These 3 things you will not forget, because I'll make sure of that. These 4 things, these 5 things which are there, we have to remember: gonorrhea, syphilis, chlamydia, trichomoniasis, genital warts. Okay? If I can find a trick, I'll definitely, if you know a trick, they will let me know. Okay, out of this, HIV/AIDS is one of the most dangerous diseases that is there. HIV is actually a virus, human immunodeficiency virus, that causes the disease that is known as AIDS, which you call as HIV/AIDS in general. Okay, now over here, I have a question to you. Ayyo, it's not working, huh? Okay. Okay, so are they completely curable? Are they completely curable? Let's see the answer. These options that you see over here, when I talk about completely curable thing, over here you see, just a second. I have crossed almost 5 of them, and I have 3 of them. Genital herpes, hepatitis B, HIV/AIDS, they are not going to be curable. They will be there throughout the lifetime. And how do I remember it? 3H. Okay, 3H. Herpes, H. Okay, herpes is an H. Second thing that we have is, oh my god, my pen. Just give me a second. I'm so sorry, children. Yes, genital herpes, which is there, it starts with an H. Hepatitis B, H, and HIV/AIDS, H. These are the 3 things that we have, which you clearly need to know. They are completely curable. They are going to be completely curable. Very, very, very important things. Okay, do not forget it. Do never forget it. Cool? Cool. They are not going to be curable. And now we are going ahead with, can they be spread only through sexual contact? So listen, when I say that sexually transmitted infection, as I said, it's not like all of them will be transferred only through sexual contact. There is HIV and hepatitis B, which can also be passed through some other fluids of your body. For example, blood, or it could be anything else. Okay, so sharing needles. Okay, sharing needles, if you go to a doctor, if you go to a hospital which is not really well equipped, they might use the same needles out there. If you use intravenous drugs, again, same needles. Okay, so sharing needles, surgical instruments, infected blood transfusion. So people who undergo blood transfusion, for example, people who have thalassemia and things like that, if at all their blood is not being screened, and before screening the blood is being transferred into them, they basically have higher chances. Similarly, also from the mother to fetus, transmission could also happen. Okay, so HIV and hepatitis B are something that can be spread through other ways, and it's not just sexual contact. So anyone whom you see with HIV, AIDS or hepatitis B, it's not necessary that they are having those diseases because of sexual contact. It could be because of so many other reasons as well. Okay, so sharing needles, surgical instruments, infected blood transfusion and things like that. I clearly remember I had a, a family friend of ours, and it's long back. Okay, I was a kid, I strictly remember. Uncle passed away. So So basically he had HIV/AIDS and he really didn't realize it. He used to go to barber shop, okay, and the barber used to, shave the thing with the same blade and stuff like that. Probably that is how he got the disease. Okay, that is how he got the disease, and he got some other disease. You know, in HIV/AIDS, that is basically when someone has AIDS, the immune system goes very, very low. And at that time, I mean, as I said, it was years before. At that time, it was not too much known that, yeah, you can have some retroviral drugs and stuff like that to continue this. But anyway, it did not end up very nice, okay, and his family also had this particular disease out there. They are fine, they are totally living a normal life out there. And with that, I want to tell you one more very important thing: do not stigmatize anyone who has any sort of the diseases like HIV/AIDS or hepatitis B. It's not their fault. Okay, it's not always their fault. It could be some other reason, as I said this. Okay, so please know about that. Cool. And they have their own medicines and things like that with which they sustain their life. Wish them well, and pray for them. That's all. So yes, HIV and hepatitis B can also be spread by sharing needles and surgical instruments, infected blood transfusion, and also by mother to the fetus transmission. So I told you about 3 diseases: herpes, genital herpes, HIV, and hepatitis B. 3 of them are not curable. They will be there throughout your life, and basically within it you have HIV and hepatitis B, which can be transferred through these methods also. Okay, now we go ahead with the next thing. Do they have recognizable symptoms? As in, if at all someone has a sexually transmitted infection or a disease or a venereal disease or reproductive tract infection, do they have recognizable symptoms out there? So the first one, early signs would be there. Okay, there would be itching, there would be discharge, there would be pain, there will be swelling in the genital region. All of it, you have to remember, there could be a question coming from it. Okay, so what is the early sign? Itching, discharge in the genital area, and also itching is there, pain is there, itching is there, and pain is happening because of what? Swelling in the genital region. You can remember like that. Don't mug it up. Try to remember: itching, discharge, pain, and swelling in the genital region. And females may be asymptomatic, leading to late detection. In the case of females, they might remain asymptomatic for so long. They might not show any symptom, which is why it could be a big problem as well. And that could lead to, if at all that worsens up, it could lead to all these things which are there. So that is again a question. If at all, what happens if someone gets STDs? What are the worst scenarios out there? First of all, these are the early symptoms that is there. But if not treated, what will it lead to? First thing, pelvic inflammatory disease. This is the pelvic region. Pelvic inflammatory disease can be caused. Abortions can happen. Suppose someone is conceiving, the baby can be lost, abortion can happen, stillbirths can happen. What do you mean by stillbirth? The baby is born, but the baby is already dead. That is what you mean by stillbirth. Ectopic pregnancy can happen. So where does pregnancy usually happen? Inside the uterus. But here it can happen at anywhere else apart from the uterus. For example, fallopian tube. Now, do you think that will be not risky for the mother and the child? Definitely it is going to be risky. So that is known as ectopic pregnancy. Pregnancy elsewhere apart from the uterus. Okay, then infertility can also be happening. Then reproductive tract cancer can also take place. So if not treated, pelvic inflammatory diseases, abortions can happen, stillbirth can happen, ectopic pregnancy can happen, infertility can happen, and reproductive tract cancer. Again, use your imagination. Do not mug up these things. Okay, so these are going to be the symptoms that you have for for the STDs which are there. If not symptoms, basically these are going to be something that is going to happen if at all you do not treat the early symptoms or the signs out there. Cool? Yes. Now, can we prevent it? Favorite question. Okay, favorite question of second PUC and board and KCET also. Can we prevent it? Definitely the answer is yes. How? Please avoid unknown multiple partners. Definitely not recommended, because we do not know their history, we do not know whether they have a disease or not and things like that. So please avoid unknown or multiple partners. Second thing, use condoms during intercourse. The reason being that I told you, condom is the only contraceptive which is going to have what? 2 things. It is basically a contraceptive, and it prevents what? Transmission of sexually transmitted infections also. So this is going to be the second thing. Now the third thing, seek medical help for early detection and complete treatment. So this is obviously not a way to prevent it, but yes, if at all to prevent it to go get worse, then definitely if at all you have early detection and you take medical help, then yeah, it can be cured. Because most of the diseases that we spoke about, gonorrhea, syphilis, chlamydia, and basically trichomoniasis or genital warts, all of them can be treated. So if at all you are getting to understand the early symptoms, go and get complete treatment such that it can prevent the bad phase of the disease as well, such as pelvic inflammatory disease or things like that. Okay, so these are the three things, very important things. Okay. Yes, and I'll show you a question. Write any 3 principles to be followed by the people to be free from sexually transmitted infections. First thing, avoiding multiple partners. Second thing, correct and consistent use of condoms. Third thing, prompt medical checkup and treatment. These are the 3 symptoms which are, these are the 3 things which you need to remember. Cool? Everyone understanding? Getting things sorted? Now we are officially moving on to the next part of the chapter. Before that, define venereal disease or sexually transmitted infections. Mention the modes of transmissions of STI. So venereal disease or STI infections that are transmitted primarily through sexual contact with an infected person. Now there can be other modes. So unprotected sexual intercourse is the first thing. Apart from it, some diseases such as HIV and hepatitis can be passed through sharing of contaminated needles or syringes, transmission of infected blood or blood products from infected mother to the fetus during pregnancy, childbirth or breastfeeding. That can also happen. Okay, these are the modes. First you have to write this, then for some diseases you have to mention this. Cool. So what are the things? First thing, limit partners. Second thing, get tested. Third thing, safer sex. Next thing, talk to the partners, avoid drugs and alcohol, and educate yourself. And I hope I am able to help you with that. Right? Finally, we end up the chapter with this particular topic, that is assisted reproductive technologies. So many MCQs and questions come from this particular topic. Actually, this chapter is small, but it is very important. Okay, very important in terms of it gives so many questions. So what do you mean by assisted reproductive technologies? That means someone is there, or some process is there to assist in the process of reproduction. Why do you need ART? Why do you need assisted reproductive technology? This is not artificial reproductive technology. Remember, it's assisted. Okay, there's a help that is being taken up. Because of infertility. And what are the reasons of infertility, if at all you have been... Okay, before going ahead with reasons of infertility, first of all, what do you mean by infertility? Is the inability to conceive despite unprotected sexual cohabitation. Unprotected sexual cohabitation, that means there is no protection being used, there is sexual intercourse that is happening, still there is inability to conceive. Conceive is known as infertility. So inability to conceive even after unprotected sexual intercourse or cohabitation is known as infertility. What are the reasons for infertility? This is again a very important question. Okay, what are the reasons for this? This is what causes for this. Physical reasons could be there. That means probably you have some physical deformities in the organs, reproductive organs which are there. Okay. Second one would be congenital, something that is genetic. Okay, it's genetically you have some genetic disorders, which is why probably you're not able to conceive, or probably you're not able to go ahead with pregnancy. Next one which is there is some other disease, congenital diseases, and then drugs. Drugs can have impact. Okay, similarly, immunological functions could be there. Probably there are, our body can kill our body cells. So there can be autoimmune diseases which can lead to what the killing of your own gametes, can be sperms can be killed, eggs can be killed, so many things can that happen. And psychological. Psychological means because of stress, hormonal fluctuations and things like that, basically it can lead to infertility. So what are the things? Physical, okay, congenital, there with you as a genetic thing, drugs, okay, immunological things, drugs and also smoking. Next one is immunological things, reasons, and the last one is psychological reason. These are the things, these are the reasons or causes of infertility. Now, misconception, women are often blamed, but male infertility is equally very common, and I can vouch for that because in my PG, I always say post-graduation, I had worked in an infertility clinic for my internship, and I saw so many cases where men were facing infertility issues. So in there, ejaculation was happening, but as I said, sperms were not there. Okay, and you only get to understand that only if you see it under these microscope. There is a condition that is known as azoospermia. Sperm is not there. So that could be happening out there. Anyways, this all things lead to infertility, and for that we need ART. As I said, there is a question that has come from this topic. Mention the reasons for infertility in humans. Physical, congenital or disease related causes, structural defects in the reproductive organs, hormonal imbalance, ailments or infection diseases can prevent fertilization. That comes under this. Second thing, drug-related immunological or psychological causes could also be there. Certain drugs, immune responses against gametes or stress or emotional factors may also lead to infertility. This is an explanation for this. So you can also go ahead, explain like that. Cool. Now the solution, that's the most important part. The solution is assisted reproductive technologies used when natural conception is not possible for people. Right? And when does that happen? And what do you do if that happens? So let me tell you one very important thing. This scenario. Suppose there is a woman. Okay. Suppose there is a woman who is not able, or somehow fertilization is not happening within her body. Somehow, for some reason, fertilization is not happening. She is producing, egg and all. The ovum is really, really good. But fertilization naturally is not happening within her body. What can be done? The first thing that you can do is take her ovum, take the sperm from the partner and fuse it in the laboratory condition. Because the only part that is not happening is fertilization. So can we do that outside the body? Yes. What do we call that process as? In vitro fertilization. You call this as in vitro. What do you mean by in vitro? In vitro means in the laboratory. In vitro means within the laboratory conditions you are going to do fertilization. For that, the egg is being collected. Okay, so usually what happens is that the female is made to super ovulate. It means that so many eggs are going to be produced. These eggs are being taken up, sperms are being taken up, and basically they are fused under the laboratory condition by the embryologist out there. Okay, now when they fuse, you get what? Both of them fuse. What do you get? Zygote. You get the zygote, right? Agreed? Why are we doing this? Because fertilization is not happening naturally inside. Fertilization is not naturally happening. That is why we are doing all of it. Rest everything is okay. Her egg is fine, the uterus is fine for the next process and all. That is all okay. So you have got the zygote after the fusion. Suppose you are planning to put, now the zygote cannot grow outside the body, it needs the body. Okay, you have to do it within the body itself. So what do you do? Basically, you take the zygote and you can put it in her body. Where do you put it in her body? You are going to put it in the fallopian tube. Why fallopian tube? Because if at all you go by the logic, fallopian tube is a place where both of them are going to fuse together, right? They're going to fuse together in the fallopian tube, and the zygote then divides to form the embryo. The embryo then rolls down to the uterus. That is how it usually goes, right? Almost when it has so many cells, that's when it goes and gets implanted in the uterus. Until now, it's there in the fallopian tube. So it should naturally go down to the uterus, which is why we are going to put the zygote directly into the fallopian tube. Suppose the zygote has divided from here, outside itself. It has divided, it has formed an embryo, but the embryo is only having up to 8 cells. I'm clearly saying up to 8 cells. That is also okay. Still we can put it in the fallopian tube. If it is beyond 8 cell, I am not going to put it in the fallopian tube. Why? Because it can lead to ectopic pregnancy. I told you pregnancy in somewhere else. Okay, it can be leading to pregnancy in the fallopian tube. So we do not want that to happen. Okay, so the first thing that you need to remember is we have zygote or zygote intrafallopian transfer, where what are we doing is that the fertilized ovum that we have got right over here, this zygote that is there, either we can put the zygote inside the fallopian tube. That is why zygote intrafallopian transfer. Zygote intra means inside the fallopian tube, transfer. A zygote intrafallopian transfer. You do not have tube. Zygote intrafallopian transfer. Or you can put the embryo, which is up to 8 blastomere stage inside the fallopian tube. That is also fine. Okay, still you will call it as zygote intrafallopian transfer only, because that is the name of the process. So transfer, either the zygote or an embryo up to 8 blastomeres, that means 8 cell, is transferred into the fallopian tube. This can be done. Now, what if, ma'am, the embryo is more than 8 blastomeres? What if the embryo is more than 8 blastomeres? What will you do then? If it is more than 8 blastomeres, we cannot put it in the fallopian tube. Rather, we are going to directly put it inside the uterus. We will be putting inside the uterus. What do you call this process as? Think of it. You are putting inside the uterus, intrauterine. Then what? Transfer. Zygote intrafallopian transfer. Similarly, intrauterine transfer. You will be putting it inside the uterus. Please understand both these processes that you have talked about right over here. This is also known as embryo transfer process. This is also known as embryo transfer. When do you do embryo transfer? Once IVF is done, in vitro fertilization. In vitro fertilization, as in fertilization in the laboratory condition is done, then we go ahead with embryo transfer. There are two methods of embryo transfer. One is this, okay, ZIFT. Okay, ZIFT, zygote intrafallopian transfer, zygote or embryo up to 8 blastomere stage, or you do intrauterine transfer, where basically embryo is more than 8 blastomere stage. Okay, can be done using gametes from either the couple or can be done from the donors. So if you feel that gametes also have issues, so basically we can take it from the donors and we can fuse it and basically put it inside the body. Surrogacy and all, you might have seen it, right? So yes. Now, if at all it's in vivo means within the body, in vitro means within the lab. So this is one way. IVF, then we do embryo transfer. In the embryo transfer, we use either of these two methods. Okay, done. So if a female has an issue with the uterus and things like that, just imagine that this is something that we can be done. The next process that is there, if gift. Gift is where suppose the female is not able to produce gametes. Not able to produce gametes of her own. Or probably she is producing, but the gametes are not good. The gametes are not functional, they are not good. In that case, what do we need? We do not need anything else. The uterus and everything is fine. I just need a gamete because I cannot produce gametes for so and so reason. Rest everything is fine in my body, just gametes cannot be produced. So what do? I take the gamete from someone else. Okay, so there will be a donor female who is going to give me their gametes. The gamete which is there is going to be transferred where? Again, where do the gametes stay, Baba? In the fallopian tube itself, right? There only the sperm will come and fuse. So we are going to put the gamete inside the fallopian tube. Now, ma'am, fertilization is going to occur naturally. Basically, the sperm, normal, sexual intercourse can be done where the sperms can travel through and fertilize up there. Okay, or then sperms can be inserted also, that is also a way, but generally always remember this is the favorite question. In the case of gamete intrafallopian transfer, when you are transferring the gamete, fertilization happens within the body or outside the body? The answer is fertilization happens within the body. Okay, it's not outside, it is in vivo. It is going to be in vivo within the body. That's why you gave the gametes within the body, no? Such that the fertilization can happen. Okay, so gamete intrafallopian transfer is different from ZIFT. Do remember that. Ovum is collected from the donor, is transferred to the fallopian tube of a female who cannot produce eggs but has a functional uterus for fertilization and the further development. So rest everything is cool, she just needs a gamete. Now this can be a question, which methods will you tell, which will you basically suggest to a person who is not producing gametes, okay, probably a female who is not able to produce valid gametes out there, gamete intrafallopian transfer. Which process will you suggest to a person who has basically, whose fertilization is not happening naturally within the body? IVF and then write ET, IVF ET containing ZIFT or IUT, intrauterine transfer or basically ZIFT, either way. So that is a logic that it has to be utilized over here. By the way, do you know what is this? Do you know what is this? This is the egg. This is going to be the egg. Egg is very, very big. And here within this particular tube, you have the sperm. And I've really seen that, okay, in the lab. I have really seen that this being done. What do you call this process? Do you have any idea about that? Listen to me. This is the egg and this is the cytoplasm of the egg. By the way, we are going ahead with the next topic. Okay, so we have studied about IVF and under that ET, embryo transfer. In the embryo transfer, there are two ways, ZIFT and also intrauterine transfer. Then we spoke about GIFT, where the gamete were not being produced. Now I'm talking about something else. So how fertilization and everything in vitro is being done? No, this is how it has been done, I'll tell you. So this is the cytoplasm of the egg. Within the cytoplasm of the egg, you basically send this sperm. What do you call it? Intracytoplasmic. Intracytoplasm means inside the cytoplasmic. What are you doing? Sperm injection. Intracytoplasmic sperm injection. This is very, very important. Do not forget it. Okay, you have intracytoplasmic sperm injection, which you are going to do. Cool. Got it? I hope that works. Yes? Yes, ma'am. Fine then. Let's go ahead. Let's talk about the next thing. So I have a video of it actually. Is this a video? It was moving somehow. Let me check. Just a second. if I just, yeah, it was video. See, okay, this is how it has been done. Crazy, right? Intracytoplasmic sperm injection. Why do you do it? Again, for fertilization to happen within the laboratory condition, you have to do this only. What's the other method that you have? So yes, that is why intracytoplasmic sperm injection is there. You also call this as ICSI. A single sperm is directly injected into the ovum in the lab to facilitate fertilization. So that is a way of basically fertilization out there. Okay. Anyway, ma'am, so we spoke a lot about females out there. What about males? How do we clarify their issues out there? So there is one thing, one common issue that they face, and that is erectile issues. Okay, they might not be able to directly send the sperms within the female body. Okay, which is because of the erectile issues, which is exactly why there is a need of artificial insemination. Or probably it could be also where they are not producing enough amount of sperm, or their sperms are not having enough motility. So sperm motility is not there, or sperm is not enough in number, or there is some erectile dysfunction. In all these cases, the best method that we can approach is what? Artificial insemination. But remember, if sperm is not produced, in that case you might need to take the help of another donor. There is medication and anything, but anyway, you can take off any another donor's help for getting the sperm. So that sperm would be from that particular donor. You take the sperm up, and basically what you're going to do is you are going to artificially put it inside the female body. As I said, because of some erectile dysfunction issues and things like that, you can do it. Or if you feel the sperm motility is not there, or the sperm quantity is not there, in that case the sperm totally has to be replaced by a donor sperm, and this donor sperm can be artificially inserted inside the female body. This is known as artificial insemination. Artificially we are putting semen inside the body. That is why it is known as artificial insemination. So semen from the husband or a healthy donor is introduced artificially into the female reproductive tract. Now I want to tell you one very important thing. In your NCERT there is artificial insemination, and there is IUI. Come on. Okay, there is one more thing that is known as IUI, intrauterine insemination. Okay, there is artificial insemination, and the next thing that you have under this is intrauterine insemination. What do you mean by that? So artificial insemination is a broader term where you are just saying that you are putting the semen within the body. When you say intrauterine insemination, you are saying that you are putting directly the semen inside the uterus. You are going to put the thing inside the uterus. That is the difference that is going to be there. Please do note that. Okay, so intrauterine insemination. So semen from the husband or a healthy donor is introduced artificially into the female reproductive tract. Into the female reproductive tract, this is artificially introduced. And next, I have IUI, intrauterine insemination, a specialized form of AI only, where sperm is directly placed into the uterus, bypassing the cervix to improve chances of fertilization. Because if at all we are taking the chances of passing it to cervix, the cervix has a lot of secretion that may kill the sperm. That is why we are putting directly inside the uterus. Used in cases of low sperm count, poor sperm motility, or unexplained fertility or infertility that is there. So yes, that is about artificial insemination. As I said, it's mostly for erectile dysfunction, or in the cases if at all there is some sperm motility issues and things like the low sperm count, then generally some donor sperm is taken and that is being put in the body. So I hope that is also done. Now I have a question over here. Mention any 4 assisted reproductive techniques that can be advised to couples with infertility problems. So 4 assisted reproductive techniques with people who have infertility problems. First is IVF. Fertilization occurs outside the body in the laboratory. Then you have zygote or embryo transfer. The formed zygote or embryo is transferred into the female body. Under that comes ZIFT and basically IUT. Or basically you can go ahead with GIFT, where ovum from a donor is directly transferred into the fallopian tube. Or you can go with artificial insemination, where the semen from the husband or donor is artificially introduced inside the female body. Right, so these are the few techniques that can be spoken about over here. The next is mention the technique that can help a woman who is unable to produce viable ova but can provide a suitable environment for fertilization or further development. She cannot produce viable ova, but she can give all the environment. method is going to be gift. Gamete intrafallopian transfer. In this technique, ova is collected from the healthy donor and are transferred into the fallopian tube. The recipient woman is unable to produce viable ova but has a normal uterus and fallopian tube, which provides a suitable environment for fertilization and also embryo development. Sperms from the husband are introduced naturally or artificially, and fertilization occurs inside the fallopian tube, in vivo, inside the body. The embryo then develops normally and implants in the uterus. That is a way that we can do. And over here, I know when you're asked for assisted reproductive technology, it can be confusing. So you can write IVF. Under IVF, you can write ZIFT and IUT if at all you want. Then you can write gift and then artificial insemination. Okay, there is no way that we can we do not give them the points. The reason being that you do not have that many methods. Under artificial insemination, you have the other one, or probably you can go like this. You can write IVF and under that you make this. So basically 1 point for that. Okay, then you have gift, another point. Then you have artificial insemination, another point. And the fourth one could be intracytoplasmic sperm injection. Okay, that could be the way that you can deal with things. Now, suggest any 2 ARTs that can help the couple to have a child, but the problem is with the female partner. So as I said, depending on what's the issue. So gift can be performed if basically they cannot produce the viable ova, and IVF ET can be done if at all basically fertilization is not happening naturally. So you explain it like this and you get the marks. This is a 2-mark question. Okay, and I'm reminding you again, everyone join the WhatsApp channel. That's where you'll get everything that is required, and also join the AIO page, which is there. Okay, there you'll see all the classes being lined up, being segregated properly. It will be really, really good for you, and you will get your assignments also very, very soon. And baba, we have completed the whole chapter, and I believe that this was helpful for you. If it was, definitely let me know in the comment section. If you have any doubts, definitely let me know about that also. The last part of the chapter is super important, that is this. Do not miss it up. If you have any doubt, ask me. MCQs are very, very, MCQs are something that is usually being asked from this topic, so that's why I do not want you to miss out on it. Cool. So that's all. Wishing you the best, and please take care of yourself. Lots of love. Bye-bye. Take care. Do not forget to hit the subscribe button as well.